Without commitment, you'll never start. But more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. It's not easy, so keep working, keep striving, never give up, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. So keep moving, keep growing, keep learning. See you at work.
While they sleep, we work. While they sleep, we work.
You speak as though I have conquered death. I live death every day. I am surrounded by it, smothered by it. Look at you now. He would have everlasting life. You seek to defy death, yet you cannot even defy sleep. And our like sleep is to death. It is a painted death.
Hey, it's the Diaz brothers from Zate Comics.
And we're back with our latest campaign, bringing together all the greatest artists and talent that CG has to offer.
So take a look at...
Whoa! I'll take it from here, Diaz brothers. What up, people? It's your boy, Mr. CG. Allow me to be your tour guide on the biggest, bounciest beach party book in CG history. CG Vacation! We got bodacious beach spots springing up from the biggest properties in indie comics. Baby, you don't need those guns when you got these guns, you know what I'm saying? Featuring art from the industry's heavy hitters, as well as the best new CG talent. I'm talking Dale Keown, Billy Tucci, Auntie Bear, Shaft and Jenny, Rennie Draws, and many more, rubbing ink on hot properties you love, like Pit, Sheep, FirstNet, Sovereign Wolf,
Cyberfrog,
Shanu, the Lucent, Downcast. I could go on and on. And I will. We got Andy Smith, Kelsey Shannon, PTP, Kaylee, Lil Presty, Monster MD, Rage Tully, Graveyard Shift. Yo, on CG Beach, we even got the weeds covered. Or, uncovered. It's gonna be more than 50 pages of pin-up perfection, like Penumbra over here. Hey, mamacita, I was just walking by, and I couldn't help but notice. Holy crap, what the hell is that? We're all gonna die! Why are you posing right now? So what are you waiting for? Take a little break and get away with all your faves. You know you deserve it. Back CG Vacation on Indiegogo today. Later, gang. We got Dahl, Robertson, Joe Ball, Sontag, Miriam Diaz, Lawless, Bancroft, Romero, McMahon, Dalton, Casanova. Just too many to mention, dude.
Josh Lamb says, Ethan, more Shantan Jetty Cyberfrog art, please. Did you like that? A lot of people are getting Shantan Jetty's trading card right now and thoroughly enjoying it. I mean, I'm hearing great things about Shant. You know, if you like the Cyberfrog card that Shant did, you should probably back his comic book, which is called Nosfero on Indiegogo. You'll get an entire book of his artwork. And like I said, I've heard nothing but good praise about his work. It is tremendous. Almost Heathen WV says, pie burn? I haven't had any pie. I wish I had. I wish I've had some pie, but I've been pretty well behaved when it comes to my eating. I've had ice cream cones, maybe 2 ice cream cones a week.
Good morning, come on in. Coffee's good, fresh and hot. There's a waffle in the baker on the grill. We're making bacon. You're always welcome back.
Charge!
There's a fire beneath my skin. There's a fever that makes me ill. Gotta love a love that kills. I got 24 hours to live. Come back. I'm down on my knees. Come back. I'm begging you, please.
What is up, you beautiful people? Welcome to the Waffle Lodge. My name is Shantan Jetty, and you guys rock. There are 20 people here at midnight on the East Coast, and hopefully it's a little bit earlier or later in your neck of the woods, depending on where you are in the world. Let us see who we've got here. I want to thank you guys for being here. We're going to be working on Nosfero. I, again, am Shantan Jetty. This is Shantan Jetty Art. This is the Waffle Lodge. Let's get down to brass tacks, people, and let's see who's here. I don't know if any of you guys can tell one of the things I'm working on right here, or two of the things I'm working on right here, which are these two characters. So those are two things that I'm working on right now, just for those of you guys who are confused what two things I'm working on. All right, let me see who we've got here in the chat. Let's see who's here, folks. We've got Jeremy Burtz, first and foremost. It's good to see you, brother. Mr. Monkey Boy 1969, it is great to see you. Broken Compass Comics, that's a tongue twister. It's great to see you. Hail to you, my friend. Charlie Stevenson, what's up? Hey, everybody. Hey to you. Teach me, sensei, says past Master Dan. And I say the student has now become the teacher, my friend. We've got Cranberry Langers here. Howdy, Shanth. Hail, chat. Howdy to you, Cranberry Langers. We've got Paulus Arts here. It's great to see you. Hail. Timmy Mello, suddenly a midnight stream. Hail, chat. That's right. Suddenly it happens, man. Good to see you, Timmy Mello. Cranberry Langers again. Paulus Arts. It's great to see you. I'm going to go sleep, though. Sometimes you got it. Stephen Rockwood dropping more links than Oscar Mayer. Pointers. That's absolutely right. And it's great to see you, Comics Legend. It's great to see you here. Good evening, Shanth and chat. I wish your campaign was pushed like other campaigns. Your campaign should be over 100K by now. Let me tell you this. My campaign is always being pushed. It's being pushed by you guys. There have been many kind words said, and we're going to get there. You know why? Superior attitude and superior state of mind. I think that's what Steven Seagal said in Marked for Death, but you never know. Lord Ravener, it's great to see you, my friend. Mr. Monkey Boy 1969. Holy shiitake mushrooms. Is that my brother, Lord Crackhead 33? Jeremy in the house. Bow to you, brother. Boom. Crack Pack for life. Crack Pack for life. Do you believe in truth, justice, and the American way? Stephen Rockwood does. I do. And let me tell you something. Gabe El Taib, Gary Martin, and David King Brohawk Williams does. Go back, truth, justice, American way. That's how I see it. Everybody is saying their hellos and saying their hails. It's always hail fellow well met here in Comicsgate, and we appreciate you guys being here. Let's see who else we got here. Past Master Dan, it's good to see you, my friend. Absolutely great to see you here. Hex Allen, good to see you, my friend. Hail to all. How do, Cranberry Langers? Absolutely right. It do how it do. Let's see here. Paulus Arts is here. Let me see if I missed it. Broken Compass Comics again. I did better that time with the reading there. Jeremy Burtz again. Great to see you guys. Great to see you guys. CG Vacation, back my brother Phil's book, guys. Make it happen. Make it happen. And there you go. Hey, Paulus Arts, my second YouTube channel. Because you know what, man? He's making it rain channels. Whoa, says Lord Ravener. Yeah, shaking it off. COVID can't kill a ginger. That's right. Absolutely right. That's the oh, dude, that kills. Yeah, and you're right. WTF, Camel Moon. What is Camel Moon doing? I don't know what Camel Moon's doing. Sock love for life. Gross. Did I miss something? All right. Word. What's up? And probably good to see you. Midnight Waffles do have their appeal. They always do, guys. I got something in the mail today that is epic to eat, and it's going to make you lose all kinds of respect for me. Ew, Graveyard Shift. Yeah, I don't know if that's what they meant. That was weird. Coolio, subbed now, Lord Crackhead 33. Everybody go and sub to Jeremy's second channel because you know there's going to be great content. And if we don't have his back, what the hell are we even doing? You know what I mean? It's like, do you hate America? We have to ask ourselves this. All right, let's see who else we've got here. We've got Pastor Dan, my brother Aldous on the farm just off Orwell Lane, who has got right now, again, Lloyd and you have got two dynamite sketches. I cannot wait to get to the rest, but you are actually getting the first Shadowhead sketch I've ever done in my life, so that is really exciting. Hey, Past Master Dan. Hey, Broken Comics Comics. Everybody saying hello, hello, hello. Stephen Rockwood, Jonathan J is working on a beautifully painted comic called Nosfero the Crypt Walker. Don't miss it. I think I read that pretty well. Hey, Jeremy, my peeps. It's Phil in the house. It's good to see you, Phil. What are you up to this hour? About 6'4", 5"? I'm not sure how far you are. Antoine Dennison, the professor in the house. I doff my cap to you, Antoine. Know that. Let's see here. Mr. Monkey Boy says, nah, means ice cream cones. That's right. Salute, chat. Salute, artist extraordinaire Shanth, and I salute you, Bretsky the Great. Truly a great man. Let's see here. Salute, exactly. Everybody's saying salute. Eric Huffles is here. Artistic genius. Amazing sculptor and creative. It is great to see you, Eric. I doff my cap to you as well, sir. We've got the groomsman, my brother from another mother, out on the West Coast, which my brother Gabe says is the best coast. It's great to see you, groomsman. I hope you are doing well this evening on your coast. Let's see. Timmy Mello, sleep is for oh, right. Sleep is for the weak. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, Eric Huffles dropping those Licks. Random McRanderson. Hail, Mr. Ingetti. Hail to you, Mr. McRanderson. It is great to see you. 463 backers. We are crushing it. Andrew Wilson, great to see you. Waffle Lodge hash browns are scattered, smothered, and covered. Amen. That's how we do it here. Can Aaron defeat the evil Rainey? Oh my gosh. I made both of their intros, and I think both their intros are two of the best, to be honest. So yeah, man, I can't pick someone in that fight. Back Nosfero the Crypt Walker. Okay, I picked Nosfero the Crypt Walker. That's where to come behind with a late surge. That's the plan. Aldous, who knows what evil lurks in the walls of Aldous soon? Oh, there you go. The Shanth knows. That's right. It will be lurking on your walls. Oh, my stars and garters. Lord Ravener, what are you doing? Let's go. Let's get those cheerleaders out early tonight. I think you're right. I think it's time for the girls to come out. So, Lord Ravener, my friend, much respect. This is for you.
Charge!
Oh, they are beautiful, and they love serving you guys with entertainment. Let me tell you. Evening chat. Thank you, Lord Ravener, again, man. Much appreciated. Evening chat, says the real Sean Crummell. I say evening to you, my friend. Cranberry Langer saying Stephen Rockwood Drawings channel. Excellent. Yes, check it out. He drops links. So let's, guys, I don't know what we've got for Stephen Rockwood's subscriber count, but let's make that grow for me, please. Very important. Very important. Well done, Cranberry Langers. Well said. Editing a new video now. Exactly right. I want to get these people who are here for me. I want to get them people on their channels. That's important to me. So, yeah, Stephen Rockwood, guys, let's make it happen tonight. Let's drop the link to that all night long. That's how we do it. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Charge indeed, Lord Ravener. That charge is for you. So, I've been working on this page while I've been watching. Wait, 33 subscribers? Come on, y'all. Let's hold on a second here. Hold on a second. Hold on a ding-dang second here. I ain't having it. Where is it? Am I subscribed already? Nope. That's done. I'm moving that number. I did my part. You know, that's what we say here in the U.S. States of America. What's up, Green Laser? It's great to see you. Yeah, I did my part. It's 34 subscribers now, people. Will you do your part? Will you do your part? Will you part your hair? Will you part the Red Sea? Whatever your part is, do it. That's what it's about. Stephen Rockwood's channel, guys. The link is there. Make it happen. Make it happen. I want you guys to think about this, too. When we talked about A's Made Consumers channel, when we talk about all of the different fine folks doing in CG, the reason why we do that is so that we can find and we can help promote more people who are out there being positive, talking about all these great things. And that's what we got to do. You know, we got to make sure we keep this stuff going, and we got to make sure we keep Comicsgate growing. And I've been thinking about that a lot today. There's been a lot of interesting stuff going on. That's right, 34. I'm doing my part. Way to go, Cranberry Langers. Stephen Rockwood, we're going to make it rain subscribers on your channel tonight. That is my goal. That and painting this beautiful comic book for you guys. I did my part, and subscribing is half the battle. Amen. You're absolutely right. 35, says Jeremy Birds. 35. Do I hear 36? Do I hear 36? Go once, go twice. Do I hear 36? One of the things that I've been working on today and thinking about today is how important what we do here is. Let's see. Closing up pinball. All right, Zay, you let me know. Phil, if you get home before I'm done and you feel like popping in, just let me know, man. But either way, drive safe on your way home, Phil. We need you making comic books, brother. We need you making comic books. So one of the things I've been thinking about today, about CG, but also about just decisions that, I've made in my career and the people that I work with, and how much, our time is worth, and how much everything we do decision-wise is, there's the business decision aspect of it, and then there's the integrity aspect of it. And I've often found that when you see people and you find people who are good to be around, make smart decisions, it's a real blessing to have people like that around you. And I always think that one of the things I'm most grateful for with Comicsgate is, one, people vote with their wallets. They want to see change. They want to see beautiful things made, and they want to bring beauty into their homes. So we promise to make it if you guys deem it as such and you support it, right? And the quote that I keep on my desk that I've been thinking about today is by a Greek slave who became one of the biggest philosophers in Rome, Epictetus. And I love this quote. The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. Now, people, in terms of when you have professional, relationships, people uplifting you isn't some sort of simple Hallmark card interpretation of that. But what it is that if you find yourself around smart people who have your back and support you, do not ever take it for granted, and ponder before you make moves away from it. Because one of the things that we're seeing happen time and time again is the people who stay here, work hard, and are consistent tend to be successful. And the people who aren't consistent, don't stay here, don't work hard. You guys are a pretty awesome group. You know that sometimes books take time. You know that sometimes, stuff happens. That's the greatest quote ever, right? Stuff happens. I feel like getting close to Kevin Costner in The Postman with that level of poetry where he said, there's a new president, President Starkins, and he's got a saying, stuff's getting better. Stuff's getting better every day. And I do love the movie The Postman. I hate to break it to you kids if you don't like that movie. It is an underappreciated masterpiece. But getting back to my original point, is that if you've got an audience of motivated comic book buyers who just want to see you make the best work you can, then by God, don't ever, ever, ever take that for granted and stick with it. And that is why Nosfero doing this YouTube channel, which we're going on 3 years, I just keep trying to bring you guys better and better stuff, more consistent stuff, as Sensei Denzel Washington says, and make sure that I keep my eye on the prize, which is getting this book done and getting it to you and then getting on to the next thing. But it's got to be great. And it's got to be, how do I put it? It's got to, for heaven's sake, it's got to be beautiful. And it's got to be fun. That's the biggest thing. What kinds of videos does Comicsgate want, though? Is there a solid answer? I'll make 100 of them. Here's the best bit of advice. I mean, it's probably, in general. Let me see. I was already subscribed. I just wanted to quote from Starship Troopers. That's right. I'm doing my part. I hear you. I'm consistently stupid, not smart. Amen. Build council of like-minded peers. You're absolutely right, with strong character. So yeah, you're a hard worker at Zaid Comics. Amen. So what does it take to make what kind of videos does Comicsgate want? Let me just say this. Think about it in terms of what kind of videos you want to make, and think about what kind of videos can you make that are going to be fun and entertaining and engrossing. And I think that goes for everybody in YouTube, because the videos that are being made right now in Comicsgate by everybody, and I include myself in this, they're great. What we need from, people who are going to be making new videos and being in this space is something we haven't done or thought of that builds off of the success that a lot of us have had. So I say, paying attention to your audio, paying attention to all the technical stuff, but then talking about what you love. And sometimes it's kind of, it's a thing where it might not be immediate that you find that audience talking about something that other people aren't talking about. Like Vaughn and I do a Hammer horror show, but I have found that since that Hammer horror video dropped, that I have seen some people who are Hammer horror fans drift into my Twitter feed and say, wow, someone's doing stuff that's based on that. And then I hope they'll go check out Cyberfrog. I hope they'll go check out all of these great books being done. That's the plan. So yeah, I say keep that stuff going. More videos of orangutans and golf carts. Yeah, you can't beat Malin for that. You absolutely can't. And what's up, old dirty fatty? It's great to see you, my friend. Let's see if I missed anybody else. Real Sean Crummel, but that's generally my thing. Yeah, as far as videos go, it's entertainment. My long-term strategy for this channel is just to be consistent making content. Obviously, I know that people come here because they, in a lot of instances, because they just want to hang out, have a chill stream, and hopefully have some laughs, and at the same time, see me paint. And those ingredients are pretty simple. That's what I got to give, when I'm doing this stuff. It's I try to do what it says on the package. When you go to the store and you buy yourself some Shanthan Jetty art, you're expecting to see some painting. You're expecting to see some never-ending intros, all that stuff, Real Sean Crummel, that's right. I believe I speak for all of us when I say I wish to see videos of the Diaz brothers shirtless. I think everybody believes that. I mean, listen, whom among us doesn't love the Diaz brothers shirtless? Somebody clip that. Yeah, Indiegogo, Unconditional Shove, Volume 1. So I'm not laughing at Unconditional Shove. I'm laughing at what I just said. Coming soon, sign up for Unconditional Shove mailing list by our resident box engineer, Odin. That's excellent, man. Yeah, absolutely. Check out Odin's amazing, stuff. He's so fun. I've streamed with him a bunch of times. We lit in to King Kong 1976. It had to be done. Oh, my box reference was unintentional. No thanks. Oh. Yeah, there you go. That, what happens? It happens. Holy cow. But yeah, it's I don't know how to describe particularly what kind of videos, because I got to be honest with you guys. I'm finding new cool videos and new cool YouTube channels all the time that I wouldn't have thought of saying, oh, you should make a video on this. That's the coolest part of it. I mean, how I found the choice voice was he was talking about, God, this was like a big thing. He was talking about Star Wars The Last Jedi. Where would we be without, unfortunately, without that movie, with a lot of us meeting each other? And, those of us, you guys who are OG, and I was there during that time. It's where I'm looking for, Thinking Critical's channel. I've just been getting into that. What a great channel, man. I'm going to need to see some boobs in this painting. Yeah, you will. Don't worry. I'll get you some. I'd rather see sisters shirtless, not brothers. That's right. Well, what if they're brother sister? It doesn't make any sense. I don't even know where that's going. But yeah, hail to the real Sean Crummell indeed. I think that that the production value and the time and what you can do in terms of consistency is something I'm continuing to work on when it comes to this YouTube channel. And I don't know, man. It's like I want to see everything. I want to see everybody who remotely thinks they have, an idea to make a YouTube channel to start one and see where it goes. If you think you can be consistent at it, because I do believe in that old adage, it's better to regret something that you have done than to regret something you haven't done. And I think that, if there's something that you want to get done in this lifetime, and Nosfero and this artwork that I'm doing right now is definitely falling into that category, then you got to make it happen. We like coconut oil, says Zaid Comics. Hail. Rolling on the floor, Sean. That was going to humor. Oh, that was that was going to humor. Well, it happens. It happens. It's got to go to humor. It's got to go to humor. If not for Return of the Jedi, I'd be in the street turning tricks for VHS movies. A sad existence. Yeah, those movies do help us sometimes. Those movies do help us. So yeah, what else are we going to talk about today? There's a lot of cool stuff going on, and there's a lot of crazy stuff going on as always. So whatever fickles your fancy, we'll try to cover. But right now, it's about me thinking about, frankly, what kinds of stuff we have the potential to do and what kinds of stuff we're not thinking of doing. And there are known knowns. Oh, my God. But yeah, I mean, I've been thinking a lot about today or this week. I've been thinking a lot about the Daily Wire, interestingly enough, and their movie outfits that they're doing. And I was thinking about how one of the things that I think has made Comicsgate so successful is a very simple formula of, kind of comics that are not too wildly high concept, that are, beautifully executed and are designed to attract an audience. That they're sexy, they're mysterious, and they're filled with danger. No imagery. What the fuck? Now Malin is streaming against my boy Sean. It happens, man. He's the coach. The hell is he doing? Now I gotta see this. Hang on a second. The hell? Home. Let's make history tonight for glory. The hell? How dare he? I'm gonna hit a like though on it because you gotta like the coach. All right. So that's the way it works. What do you call it? Where are we? All right. So let's see here. You make me want to paint again. Listen, old dirty fatty. I love hearing that. Thank you so much for that. I really, really do appreciate that. Any story component that popped up in the last couple of months, characters that will be showing in the next volume, Shanth. Oh, Lord. I've probably shown some stuff, but I got to be honest with you. The next volume is going to be the next volume of Nosfero. Let me move that mic back. That's probably pretty intolerable. The next volume of Nosfero is going to be much like this one. All of the elements in this one, but Hammer Horror goes to Egypt if I have my druthers. I want to make a really cool comic book with Egyptian ruins, vampires, mummies, and introduce two really cool new characters. And one character is going to be a super, super sexy, interesting monster character. That's what I will say. Super, super sexy. Eric Huffle says, Loose Threads by Mark Poulton, our very own Mark Poulton, the champ. It's good to see Mark Poulton. I saw him on John's stream when he was launching that, guys. Do check it out. It does help. Every bit helps. Any story component popped up. Okay, got that one. Spoilers, very nice. Ooh, sehr gut. Yeah, absolutely. Sean streams got me moving to inking with my sketches. Excellent. Rather than digital editing, it really is night and day between the two. John, what's up? Too many CG streams right now. Hello, all catching up. How many people are streaming right now? I actually looked. Boobfero, indeed. I actually looked to see if there were any streams scheduled, and I think everybody decided to stream right now. Right, you know, I think everybody got the same brilliant idea. So yeah, so the I want to create a character who is really I want to create characters that are always bringing the sexiness, the mystery, and again the sense of danger. And sometimes I want to have two or more of those things in one character. And this character I'm doing is definitely mysterious and sexy when you see her, and she's going to be great. She's going to be such a great. It's going to be a really great story, and I'm really proud of, you know, adhering to essentially what Razorfist always says that I love. And hail groomsmen and hail John, hail traditional art indeed. Yeah. Oh yeah, that reminds me of something I wanted to talk about. Let's see here. Is the creature from the Black Lagoon? Is it the Invisible Man? I will tell you this. Vaughn's got the Invisible Man or Invisible Lady all sewn up, so I think that's the way to go. And by the way, that was a little hint. Camel and Malin saw Sean streaming and thought, now is the time. Well, I think they did. That's what happens, you know. What are you going to do? Stephen Rockwood drawing, exactly. And Anna, too. That is hilarious. Hey, man, listen, the more the merrier. Everybody's bringing something different. And I will say this, you know, the goal is the more the merrier. And let's make this thing big, because every single one of us streaming is a chance for somebody to discover CG, and that, my friends, is how I like things to be. But what was I gonna say there? The Egypt. Shoot, there was something else I was saying. Oh, you know what I should do with her arm? I should move that up. That sexiness. We talked about the Invisible Man, creature from the Black Lagoon. Let me go to the chat and see what I'm missing. Project Reptile by Dojo Kun Comics. Do check it out. Let's see. Star Anna 2, Camel Moon, Shanth. Where was the question? Groomsman, Timmy Mello, Yo John. Why I didn't get a notification? I didn't see that he was streaming. There you go. I feel like we're being misled here by the old YouTube. But yeah, the idea. Oh, I know what it is. So one of the things I love about Razorfist when he was describing what his plan was for his books that he is doing, for those of you guys who haven't seen them. He said that I believe in pulp through and through. I'm all about low page count, high plot. And I thought that is really, you know, when you're doing a painted comic book and you want to do it in the pulp style, you've got to produce a lot of plot for it. A lot happens in this. You get a lot of characters that are introduced. You get a lot of characters and world building aspects of it to where its first appearance is all over the place. And so that's really what I'm after with this book. And so the second book is just going to move things just as far. I mean, we'll build off of what we have, but it's going to be a pretty big story, even in this first issue, because you're going to get the idea of bigger cosmic things happening. Low page count, high plot, heavy action, all story. Amen. That is what it's all about. That hint, well, I'm sure it'll be a shocking addition. It's going to be so cool. It plays into the story so well. Comicsgate works. Amen. Oh, right. That may be true. Yeah. That's because Bancroft is on Camel's show. See, there you go. Right? There you go. Yeah. I mean, for me, when I think about Nosfero and I think about what I want to do in comics, every single issue that you do is going to, you know, have to introduce a lot if you want to maintain people's interest. You got to get people to, you know, leave the comic book wanting to see more, wanting to know where it goes from there. And not because they didn't hear enough, but because they were like, oh, wow, so there's this, what's going to happen next? Or, man, I love these characters. I can't wait to read their next adventure. So as I've said before, we are now 29,100 and something. We had a really good week this week with Nosfero. People keep discovering it in bursts. And the thing I'm going to say about that is that I want you to have a complete story when you read Nosfero, like a complete closed off adventure, like Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then it moves. Sexy Cthulhu, hot blob. No, it's not going to be like that, man. Oh, right, that must be true. Well, that's true. Comic works. Yes, good. Just making sure I've got everything. Yeah, there will be elements of that, but she's a straight up babe, and dare I say, no, I won't say that much. You guys don't get to hear all this stuff. I can't tell you all this stuff, man. It's like it'd be too much. It would be too much if I told you all this stuff, man. But I am actually Jericho Green contacted me, or we've been talking because we're on Double Impact together, so it's not like he contacted me. Like him and I have been talking about an idea for a pinup piece I'm going to do for him, and some other cool stuff. And so we talked about that today, and I just am looking forward to that so much because he's going to be a fun person to collaborate with. He's got we're going to have fun on this and make something really beautiful and really, really cool. So, yeah. So with all the stuff going on, it is craziness. And so, yeah, this right here, this character is inspired by the great Madeline Smith. And Madeline Smith was in the movie Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell. And I just, she was in that movie as a mute. She has like one speaking line, and then she was in The Vampire Lovers. And I have to tell you, I think she looks even more radiant in Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell. I mean, she's got just a really great presence in that. And there's just great lighting, really great lighting in that flick. And so, yeah, I want to make sure that everything is sexy, mysterious, dangerous. That's the goal. Hot anime bombs. I got what you meant. Yeah, well, things happen. And they should be. You're paying for it, right? Let me see here. But she plays a hottie in all of them. Yes, she does. All of them. You bet. Brandon McGranderson. Everybody's saying hello here at the Waffle Lodge. You guys are the best. Yeah, I mean, it's sexiness is the job. I think it was James actually sent me a message. James Lee sent me a message to say, do you have this Hammer Beauties book? And Madeline Smith is on the cover of it. And I was like, oh, yeah, I've got that book. It is a great book. And it's just they broke the mold when they, when they started. Hammer created all of those different strategies for how to make, successful entertainment. And so this is my big thing. I'm not one to give out advice to the Yankees suck, says Mr. Monkey Boy 1969. Well, I'm where I'm from, that is a very safe thing to say here. So yeah, you're definitely safe here, man. But the thing for me is that when I watch a company like the Daily Wire, I really wish they would look to Hammer Horror's low budget model and really look to all of the great low budget models that have gotten a big audience and attracted a big audience. And one of those is, of course, Hammer Horror. And I would love to see them just do stuff for the masses, do sort of pulp, pop, action stories, because I think that that's what people need. I think drama is a tougher thing to build a studio on. From Universal Studios to almost every other indie studio that I can think of, they've all used the horror genre. And I think they've got people like Gina Carano and Cowboy Cerrone, and they've got all these great people who could really do some great action horror monster stuff. And I really want to see them do that because I want to see them be able to succeed. And I think that's why you see so many of these characters, these archetypal characters here. That's a big part of it, is trying to get, trying to build something big and create new heroes at the same time. But yeah, that's what Nosfero is about. So in this story, working on the last 9 pages of it, the coolest thing in the world is Aldous heading out. Where is Aldous? Let me see him. Aldous, have a great night, all. Take care, Aldous. Skunk Artworks, great to see you, my friend. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to you, my friend. Later, Aldous, and be safe out there. Yeah, absolutely. What is up, Waylam? Good to see you, my friend. Heyo, family. It's good to see you too, my friend. Hammer Glamour. There is the book. Absolutely right. And everybody's saying take care. Agree. I don't like dramas. They're boring. Well, dramas are hard to sell too. I'd be into some gritty detective stories from Daily Wire. Anything. Here's what you're absolutely right. anything that you can do to bring an audience in that is cheap and low budget, do it. Like, make it happen. I mean, shoot, man, I would see if I could get some of these action stars in here. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I would be trying to do. I would be trying to have more of these older action stars and making some really cool, pulp stuff happen, and get people like, when you saw them do on Mandalorian, getting a great actor or movie star like Carl Weathers and getting him involved in, the Mandalorian. That was a bit of genius. And Daily Wire could be making some of these moves because we've got a lot of great actors out there. And then, build a standing soundstage, don't do a lot of stuff on location because that's wildly expensive, and make movies that are designed to sell. Because if there's one thing that Top Gun Maverick has proved, Cobra Kai has proved it, a lot of these currently really successful films have proved, is that there's an appetite out there for a certain kind of, return to what entertainment used to be, which is totally, the escapism aspect of it. And I just kind of think that that's where we need to keep this stuff. We need to keep this stuff escapist. We need to keep it fun. I mean, it's not that complicated. What is up, everybody? All this on the farm, just off Orwell Lane's channel. There it is. Thank you so much, John. The anime Bobs know where they are at all times. They know this because they know where they aren't, but subtracting where they are. Oh my God, you're killing me, man. Oh my God, it's too late for that. Give me a campy action show any day. Nobody makes those anymore because they're afraid Twitter will make fun of them, and you can do them on a budget. If only the Daily Wire had an action star, somebody like Gina Carano. The anime, blah, blah, blah. That's awesome. And I have suspicions about their philosophical leanings. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, and exactly. Get people who are not woke. And you're right. Cobra Kai proved you don't need superstars. You're absolutely right, guys. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of ideas, and there's a lot of stories that have equity, built up in them that are not expensive. Do them. I mean, I think what everybody was looking for from Gina Carano was, an up the middle sort of, action story, a fun, playful action story, whatever, what she built up with a character like, oh my God, who am I thinking of now? Cara Dune. And so I'm always thinking about different things that I'd like to see, happen with that stuff. I even did a digital sketch exploring, a Van Helsing like character that Gina could play. And it's like vampire slaying craziness. Like, I remember when Underworld came out, you look at Resident Evil, you look at all of these movies of, super attractive action babe kicking ass. And I'm like, why aren't we doing that with Gina Carano? I mean, all of those actors have been making those movies, well into the point where they were older, and they hold up. And Gina's in excellent shape, and she's got a movie star kind of charisma. I want to see it. It's like, God almighty, that was, and I do this stuff for fun. It was a fun digital sketch to do. Let's see here. Cobra Kai proved it. You're absolutely right, my friend. Entertainment used to be small. Well, you've got it throughout the years to prop up the big, expensive tentpole movies. You're absolutely right. The Groomsmen Wibble Wobble got that shake that makes the boys. Gosh, I saw Top Gun Maverick for the second time with my son, and it was glorious. So good. There you go. I think that explains the box office, The Groomsmen, right? Money don't lie. Woke is a joke, which will cost a lot of money and lives, sadly. I agree with that. But Daily Wire doesn't have any action stars like Gina Carano. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. Gina Carano is getting a little plump. I got to tell you this, man. One, I know that anybody who's one of these people who's a fighter could get themselves in any kind of shape. But I will tell you, from what I've seen, I don't know. I feel like she lost a lot of weight. Now, sadly, I think that might be because of the stress. But I think Gina is trying to move away from action and more drama. I think you can do both. Look at Peter Cushing in the Hammer movies, right? You can do something with pathos that's great. What are your thoughts about AI-generated art? I think that artificial intelligence might be crazy about it. I don't know. It looks like, how do I word this? Trying to think of a best way to put this. For some things, AI-generated art might work, and it could be useful, but for the most part, I think that is the problem of art in general. The problem of art is the human imperfections that make people like it. It doesn't obey any kind of weird system. I wish it did, because it sure as hell would be easier to be more successful. But I mean, it's not keeping me up at night. Like, some people are like, what does this mean? And I'm going, I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, it's like, I would prefer like that we throw everything into AI driven surgery and things like that. But would Gina ever agree to Daily Wire's Western thriller? It's impossible. You got me, man. Even it's kind of, even everybody, Sean, I'll have the usual chicken and waffles coming right up to your booth, Mighty Geek Studios. Much love. That muscle memory, that's what it is. I don't hate the shake. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I don't like the shake. Listen, you guys know me, man. I mean, I like Frazetta girls. And this is the other thing. There's different kinds of different ways to be sexy, and there's different things that men like. Let me tell you guys, let's talk about men and ladies for a minute here, if you don't mind. If you don't mind. Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about the ladies here while we paint, while we draw here at the Waffle Lodge. Guys, make sure you like and subscribe if you are not already. So you could do both. That's that bipedal. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I love me some werewolves, and I'm glad you like that bipedal werewolf. I want that cross between the Howling and American Werewolf, of course. AI art could serve as a tool for inspiration. It absolutely could. She could. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I like the idea of the first movie offer, or an idea that Daily Wire had for Gina Carano. Yes, exactly right. Too perfect music is unnerving. Yes, it is. Uncanny Valley thing. That's the problem. I meant to get good or get gooder. That's right. I'll tell all new artists that first rule of art is that perfection is not the goal. It's about interpretation. Yeah, it's not about fact. It's about truth. Yeah, Gina is schmexy, even if she's not my type. Yeah, exactly right. You just have to like her enough to, and she knows how to fight. I think a good fight choreographer is a must. But I also think that she needs to do something with some pathos. And the myth of Hammer horror movies being, and things like that being dumb or not. Peter Cushing acts his ass off while also jumping across tables and fighting vampires. So I look at this stuff and I go, you can have both. Embrace the power of and where the F is that thing I want to show you guys? All right. You guys want to see what I do? I've been showing so much recreation, but do you want to see some stuff? Son of Liberty Radio, it's great to see you. We need more werewolves in CG. We don't have enough. Agreed. So you'll love this then. I love figures on your page. Oh, thank you so much, man. This is in the previous page you did. I do appreciate it. Greg Nicotero just fully restored the original prop Wolf of the Howling. Yes, he did. That's right. This week on Instagram. So awesome. All right, guys, are you ready to see something weird? This is a concept of, like, when I was thinking about what Gina Carano is doing, I saw an interview with her and Clifton Duncan, and she was just talking about how her, as the Native Americans say, or I should say the Lakota Sioux say, perhaps, her heart was on the ground. And it made me, essentially, she was just feeling really sad and just like she's been through the mill. And I thought, that sucks, man. And I sent something that I think I shared with you guys to Clifton Duncan, just as like a kind of like a shot in the arm, just to say, hey, creativity. Let's get those juices flowing. And I created this. I haven't sent anything to Gina because I haven't figured out what it is yet. But this is something that I'm working on right now for fun. So let me add this to the stream. So I started thinking about what kind of low budget sort of fun movie could I come up with, or a concept or a character could I come up with for Gina Carano. And I started thinking about the idea of some kind of Valkyrie, an X-Valkyrie perhaps, or Valkyrie X. But I was playing around with, and that's a shit title right now, just so you guys know. But I started thinking about, like, how could I create something that took place, in an interesting world in the past, sort of like a gothic kind of Western. Get her a cool rifle that's got a nice little shoulder strap that's like, tooled leather to look like a wing. So you've got that wing thing there. And then, of course, having, a wing carved into the handle so it looks cool when she's walking around. And I haven't figured the entire thing out or anything, but I just started sketching, because the way we're going to get out of this is we're going to create our way out of this. We're going to solve our problems by creating our way out of it. And I don't want to see... I want to see Gina in some kind of kick-ass, Van Helsing-esque servant of God, supernatural angel thing, kicking ass and, battling, evil, the forces of Satan, as Peter Cushing did, with the evil that you see. And that's the thing I like, Oh, you talk about bladed gun, like in fantasy. I've absolutely thought of a gun sword or a gun kukri that's a huge part of it. And the thing that I was thinking about for right here, I'll show you guys I'll create a new layer and show you guys what I mean. The thing I was thinking about here, if I can, let me make that bigger for you guys, because this is my first time sort of screwing around in Photoshop on here. So I'm doing all this stuff on a trackpad because I find it limits things and makes it a little bit easier for me. But and if anybody knows Gina, tweet out at her, say, Gina, we're thinking about you out here. Tell Trunk 3PO we're doing shit in here, man. Let's talk. Let's get shit happening. But the thing I was thinking about when I was thinking about her character is I like the idea of obviously blades, but I like the idea of doing something that's more akin to, the kind of the kind of blade that looks like a feather, and it's like those kinds of knives, and playing around with that. And so that there's this kind of repetition of this sort of like cool Peter Cushing, Van Helsing, type character, and really just bringing that essence of cool to this. Because you got to figure, right, if we're going to try to change pop culture and we're going to try to create the new stuff, we've got to stand by the people and help the people at a grassroots level. That was the thing. That's the thing about the other aspect of it, is knowing the fan base of somebody and then understanding what we do so well in CG is understanding what it is about them that we can market built off of what they've already done. Now, I know that Gina was talking about she doesn't think she's even scratched the surface of what she could do action-wise in a film. I think she mentioned that at some point with choreography and with fighting. But I also think that there's this element where I think she's just now scratching the surface of what can be done with her work in terms of drama. And so like the idea of a character that's going to go out there and do some fighting and do some combat and kind of wanders in from a standing set Hammer horror town to another and kicks ass. That's what I like the idea of. And I love the idea of just really going full tilt with it and having fun. There's a lot of potential. They have the ability to go deep into supernatural fantasy. I'm reading Downcast right now. Right on, my brother Clint. Really digging it. Might do an opinion video next. Very cool. I can imagine Gina Carano as Brian Pulido's Lady Death, or even Vampirilla, maybe even Barbed Wire. I think she could do all of that stuff. But here's another thought. I want to see Gina shake all of those things into one particular thing. And I would love to have a conversation with her about this kind of stuff. Just, strictly just shooting the bull, because I think that if Gina doesn't want to ever get screwed again by any of these stupid ass people who go and try to destroy your life, what she needs to do is create something, an intellectual property that she has some ownership of, because that's what we do here in Comicsgate. You can't be fired off of something that you own, which is why you don't want to go in. That's why Comicsgaters, the best advice I could give is don't try to grow something too big too fast. Don't bring in investors. Don't give up rights to your stuff, hoping for greener pastures, because these people do not care. Anybody who would, want that type of ownership and that type of involvement is going to give you problems down the road. You only want to do what you need to do. And I think that Gina needs to realize that she's a star. She's been a star in the MMA world, and she's in that way in action stories. And then her first movie role was all about action. But I think she could get the pathos, the spirituality, the drama, the hope, the optimism. She's a very spiritual person. You see that from her. And I'd love to see her kick a little ass. Are you wanting subs? Promo your channel at Mighty Geek Studios? Yeah, let's talk about that. Do you, Mighty Geek Studios? Let us know. Looks like a flechette. Yeah, it's absolutely right. Yeah, flechette. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, flechette. Do you mean in terms of like the steer rifle, that kind of thing? Another Kingdom, if they could, might be good. I agree with that. Yeah. Don't don't chase Eric July. Yeah, that's a good one too. Big paychecks make people crazy, rarely in a good way. Slow growth is best. I agree with that 100%. Aquila of the Phoenix Guard, Nightmare Fuel by Aardvark. Indeed. Yeah, without a doubt. I can imagine Gina Carano as Brian Peleus FTL, so we covered that one good. I think Gritty would be good. Getting dirty in the street fights with street toughs. You're absolutely right. I want to see Gina. My personal take is, all right, she played a really good Marshall. I'd like to see her. General Piggy, you crazy maniac. Hail, my friends and Shanth enthusiasts. Hail to you, General Piggy. Much love. It is great to see you here. Let me give you some cheerleaders, because I think...
Charge!
You know what I'm saying? God bless you, General Piggy. God bless you. Yes, I do. In the next few months. Excellent. There you go, right there. Irene broke 100K. Hey, that is awesome. Congratulations, Rini, 100K. That is outstanding. Hold on a second. That deserves something special. I don't typically do this because I just feel like it is not my place to do this. But let me see here. Oh, can't find it. Hang on a second here. Okay, let me see here. Oh, there we go. Just lost it. Here we go. We're going to open that. Let's see if this works. Watch this not work at all. All right, guys, I got to celebrate Rini and congratulate her because that is very big news. Sorry if we struggle a little bit right now. I was just doing an upload. All right, guys, this is for Rini. Ethan, forgive me, but 100K is a big deal, so let's celebrate it. I doff my cap to you, my lady. Congratulations. You've earned that. I had a blast making that intro for you, and I hope many great things are coming your way, my friend. So, yeah, keep on rocking in the free world. Funny Picture Comics, it's great to see you, my friend. General Piggy, John is here. It's so great to see all of you guys. Fiendish Chapter 2, check it out. Congrats, Rini. 6 figures. Congrats to Rini. Awesome. Oh, my God, she did. There you go. A triple blade that feathers out with a bolt in the handle would be sick. Ooh, you guys are having fun. John, I will gladly take any of your big paychecks off your plate. I'll take one for the team. Yeah, that's how it is, man. Absolutely. Look at this. Congratulations. Yeah. Well said. Indeed, Stephen Rockwood drawing. Yeah. Let's see here. Now we need Andy and Aaron to pass 100K. I'm 100% with you. Absolutely. 100K. Let's go. Indeed. The magic of Comicsgate. Let's talk about magic too as well. Well deserved for Rini. So proud of Rini, of Irene and the Comicsgate Kings and Queens. Indeed. Mike Barron has a project launching too. That is absolutely right. Son of Liberty Radio, Comic Revolution YouTube channel. Do check it out. Professor Herbert and Geo Adventures, #1 by Funny Pictures Comics, right there. It's cause she's an attractive girl who's in CG, is doing interesting story with great art, very shallow reasons, indeed. And if you'll notice, when I put the bow on her head, I made sure it said CG where the fastener is, which was a lot of fun. Yeah, Rini works her ass off. She shipped a book. She does great work, and congratulations. I freaking love it. Rini hit 100K, my friend, but I'm sure you're aware of that because I think that's probably everywhere. At the groomsman, your willingness to sacrifice is admirable. What I miss, I like her art indeed. So yes, guys, absolutely. Yeah, humbly do what I can. So yeah, getting back to what we were talking about here, just in terms of what I'd love to see from Gina, what I'd love to see from Daily Wire. It's like, there's so much opportunity to create stuff. And again, we're talking about blades, many blades coming out from a particular weapon. What we could do with that could be really killer. There's so many things you can do in this world. And how much would this costume cost? Like, we think about things like that. But the bigger thing is that I would love to see her with a rifle. I would love to see her rolling up in a standing set of a town and doing everything on a budget and shoot many pictures there. Shoot like a couple of sequels. That's what I want to see them do with her. And I just think she's kind of she's just ready for that next thing. Shanth, when you break 100K, I'm flying out to Rhode Island to high five you in person. That is a plan, brother. I want to see it. Yeah, Blade at Dawn. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, congratulations, Reed. Look at all the love here. It's so great to see. A weapon with many Wesley Snipes. Now, listen, I will see that movie opening day. Indeed, Blades. I know what you mean. Blades at Dawn. I want to see. People have not. How do I word this? People have not gotten the full, what she's capable of in terms of her sexiness, in terms of her movie star quality, and also in terms, again, of her depth. I mean, she is vampire hunting Valkyrie and needs a crossbow. Yeah. I mean, guys, doesn't this stuff write itself? I preferred Killer Instinct. Oh, there you go. The mainstream has declared Mortal Kombat on Comicsgate, but forgot to read the rules of Mortal Kombat. Good to catch stream at Sean and Jetty. Great art as always. Good night, fellas. Good night to you, Cranberry Langers. Much love. Yeah, guys, what else have we got for this? What other ideas have we got? Let me know. Groomsman means he was going to hit you. Well, that, we've already done. He's done that before. We all do that. Laugh out loud. Have you disclosed your state? That's right. The groomsman. Yeah, that's right. Oh, man. Yeah, that's a flight. That is a flight. Shoot it in Transylvania. It's cheap, gothic, and perfect for a gothic Western. True. Ultra combo. Yeah, here's the thing, too, I want to make sure I say, when we talk about Mortal Kombat, do you guys remember the first Mortal Kombat? That was not an expensive movie. So let's dream a little here, because this is Comicsgate. This is what we do here, right? This is the independent space. This is where we make shit happen. For those of you guys who don't know, I have done some concept art for video games and things like that. Done a couple of those jobs. I've also done, some stuff that was, I've done just a ton of stuff. I don't know what stuff. I did stuff for DreamWorks Consumer Products for How to Train Your Dragon back in the day. And I've done some stuff for, also for Monsters versus Aliens. I did some work for them. But I want to talk about some of the stuff that you see happening that is really, that what they used to do at LeBray Studios in Hammer Horror Films. So they would do things where they would have arches, they would have an open courtyard, they would have a building here, and they would have interior sets and exterior sets for what they were doing. And so you might have a little tavern off to the side here. You might have an interior of a castle here, but it didn't matter because all you saw was the window. You might have something completely different looking out onto this space, and it was one set. And maybe they'd have just a couple of levels on it so they could change what the set was, your location, your interior location. But all of this stuff was standing. So they were sets that could be, redressed and used for something else. And I would love to see Daily Wire actually really do something like, Bray Studios, so that you can have a crypt down in here, or you could have, the bottom of a castle here, or then you could have a courtyard up there. And really play around with what you could do in a gothic setting with Gina. I think it would make perfect sense. The Maiden of Weapons. I mean, you guys have got it. Yeah, State of Panic. You guys are hilarious, man. Eric Huffles I will high five him, then slap him in the back of the head in one fell swoop. Okay, I got to call out the groomsman here, okay? I have a feeling that the groomsman's going to come out here and he's going to go, slap ass! Slap ass! Come on, Sean! One more slap ass! I have a feeling that's what's going to happen. And it's true. It's true. He wishes he knew how to quit me. Yeah, cult classics are always low budget. Yes. Shit, give me Gina. You can do a great story. It was proven by Night of the Living Dead. Give her, it doesn't have to be a zombie story. But use the Blumhouse rules, regardless of what one thinks about Jason Blum. Remember this, guys. It is one location, limited location, low budget, no crowd shots, because that costs more money in terms of extras, small cast. That is how you make money with horror stuff, because vampires are not copywritten, but they have a lot of brand equity. Horror movies aren't copywritten, or the Frankenstein isn't copywritten. All of these things aren't copywritten. Do you do werewolves? Probably not. Unless you only do one, because that's going to be a lot of money to make somebody up, or you don't have that werewolf on stream. But you should think about this stuff, guys. Okay, let's talk Comicsgate for a second, too. When you guys see me working on this book right here, right? Actually, yeah, let me see. I don't think I can do that. But when you see me working on this book right here, let's do this. I'm going to remove this for a second. Here's what I'm thinking about for your money. I'm thinking about how much it costs for me to be working on this book, to be buying the paints, all of that stuff, the quality of the paper that I want to use. The reason I'm doing everything is because, one, I know how to do everything on this project. I could do it all if I had to do it. God willing, I'll get Eric Weathers to do letters because I would just love that. But it's all budget based. It's all budget based. I plan for things to not make $1 million, but I create as if it's $1 million project so it can make that stuff. It can make as much money as possible. So that's how I think people need to think about film. That's how I think people need to think about film. So I'm thinking, what can you have control over? Have control over the set. Yeah, I can see you're doing a Hitchcock esque movie too, but here's what we need for Pulp stories. And this is what Gina needs. She needs a story that has danger, mystery, and sex. That's what it is. And I mean sex appeal. That's what it needs. And that's what they did with Hammer Horror. And I think she needs a character. She needs to play on what her genius is, which is for action and fighting. She understands the fight game. And so she's got that ability. She loves a good challenge too. And I think drama-wise, she should be looking to actors like Peter Cushing for sure in the Hammer Horror movies. That's what I want to see. Rini Wares. There you go. Redbubble Rini Wares. That sounds weird, though. Something about that word phrasing. I created a character that would fit Gina perfectly. She's a modern descendant of Abraham Van Helsing. And that I think about those things all the time. Carl Weathers on the colors. Yeah, that'd be great. But Carl won't return my call. Yeah, there you go. Yes, that is what makes it criminally underfunded. Well, this is the thing about it, right? We're going to get this thing where it needs to be. I just have total faith in it, guys. I really have faith when it comes to Nosfero that this project is going to go. It's going to go gangbusters once it gets to a certain point. And I have news for you guys. When people start seeing this book coming out, and they're like, oh, cool, now I'm going to back it. The second time I offer this book in the future after this campaign, it is not going to be cheaper. It is not even going to be the same price. It is going to be much like the art books and everything else. I reward the people who come early, to this stuff and who support it early when it really, really counts. That's the thing for me. And so, yeah, I did that with the art books, and it's going to be the same case with this book. So, yeah, what I want to see happen in pop culture right now is I want to see us learning from our American entertainment ancestors, the people who've built things out of nothing. Yes, Jericho Green's YouTube channel, loving working with that dude on every level. He's great. Yeah. And as far as, and my brother, the groomsman, knows what, and some of you guys will know what I mean when I say this. When it comes to the funding on Nosfero, I'm gonna hold true to an expression that I think about all the time. Jehovah Jireh. That's the way I'm thinking it. And so I've had such an incredible time, here in CG and making this stuff. It's been one amazing thing after another. So that's the attitude I'm taking, with this stuff, which is work hard, conduct myself with integrity, and tell people what I want to do. What do I want for this book? I want this book to be let me say this. I want this book to be a massive success. I want Shanthan Jetty to be art to be a massive success, and all of the future Nosfero books and all the other stuff that I'm doing. But my goal is I'm willing to have faith, discipline, consistency, and all of the things I promise you guys when I play that Denzel Washington clip at the start of every stream. That's the key. That's what it comes down to. And humility. That's a big thing. There's already a comic and TV show about a female modern day Van Helsing descendant. See, this is the thing. It's a tough thing to write, man. It's a tough thing to write. I can't wait to get my hands on Nosfero. Oh, God bless you. I backed Ripa, Gabe, and you. I'm excited for your book. Thank you so much. I backed those guys too. I backed all the covers for Truth, Justice, American Way. I backed the signed copy of Ripa's campaign. I'm looking forward to it. And this book, I cannot wait to have this in your hands. It's going to be so good. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. That's exactly. As the Spice Girls said, yeah. I want to see great work, and I want to see American culture doing well. And I want us to live up to the history of Carl Laemmle Sr. and Carl Laemmle Jr., God rest him. I mean, he's been dead for a long time, but he died very, very young, unfortunately, who founded Universal Studios and brought the Universal monsters to us, brought Gothic horror to California, European Gothic horror to California, and then Hammer Horror, who brought it back to the UK and then added to that legacy. That's what I want us to do, guys. I want us to make the greatest entertainment you've ever seen. And I know we're already talking. I know Gina's called and talked to Ethan before. I know that, Drunk 3PO obviously knows Gina and is good friends with her. And so she's very aware of all of the people in our space. I'm sure she knows about Eric July. But I think that there's a creative power in Comicsgate right now that people would do well to utilize, because Comicsgate, we're not all, it's not like we're all marching in lockstep or any of that crap. You know what I mean? We're not. But it's because we approach things in different ways, but there's a cumulative wisdom from people trying things and doing different things. And I think people I think Gina deserves, because she stood up and she has integrity, I think that she deserves some assistance from people with different skill sets, and comic book people and comic book creators brainstorm in a very particular way. You guys know this from the streams. Yeah, Von Klaus, my other brother's YouTube channel. Yes, check it out. Absolutely. It's like, can we make Jericho Van Greensburg character a thing? Hey, I already made him into Steven Seagal with a ponytail, but we're cooking up an All-American Babe pinup that I think you guys are going to love. And I want that to make money for him. So that's the goal, but I think that Gina would she's an excellent student of anything she picks up, whether it's, martial arts or anything else. I forget if she started with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or if I feel like she started with something else when she was training. I remember she discussed it at some point, but maybe it was Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But the thing is that I want to see, the idea of how we create intellectual properties and iconic stories. And then also, as we do in CG, we know how to do what works and what has been proven. We don't try to go into areas and go into spheres where people don't want us to compete. We go to places where we have an independent audience, an independent source. I think Gina could absolutely make this stuff, could make something that she could own and make herself. She's already got great people. She's got great goodwill around her. She knows talented and skilled people. And I don't know if you saw her in one of her most recent movies, though. I think it's on YouTube now, the entire thing. I think it's about Hunter Biden, but I'm not positive. Don't quote me on that. But for people who are saying, that Gina's put on weight, I'm going to tell you this right now. She looks great in that movie. She looks more healthy than I do. I can tell you that. But I think it's her presence that is the biggest aspect of it. But then I might be biased because, I like Frazetta girls, man. That's what it's about for me. So again, judge not, lest you be judged yourself. Let me see what else we've got here. Yeah, she was a natural kickboxer. That's right. She was a natural kickboxer. Yeah, I watched her stand. I watched her. Was it Chris Cyborg she had her last fight against? I watched that. What a gutsy performance, man. Unbelievably gutsy performance. Yeah, Gina's a deep study. Absolutely. Yeah, she could play a kick-ass Truth from Truth, Justice, American Way. Yeah, absolutely right. Speaking of low-budget horror entertainment, remember that time we watched Blair Witch Project? I do remember that time. I actually want to talk about that movie. My son is getting into it. He's playing the Blair Witch game. That is an example of making a property. Whatever one thinks about the merits of that film, I think it still works as entertainment. Scared the shit out of my kids. Yeah, she has it. You're absolutely right. She has it, and that is big. But that movie was a pop culture phenomenon, like Night of the Living Dead, and that's what is crazy. Oof, that movie's just the real Sean Crummell. If Gina put on weight, then I am the real. Yeah, that's right. Blair Witch made me laugh. Yeah, some people it does. But it's like Paranormal Activity had that effect on me. Like, it didn't work, but I know people who love that movie. it's one of those things to where when it comes to Gina, when it comes to this stuff, I think it would be about doing, screen tests, thinking creatively, thinking about in terms of, what would look good in terms of a costume on her. But I think that if you have a low budget, I mean, you really you make sure it looks good, but you keep the budget small. That is your best bet in the world. That is your best bet in the world. Is to and really think about it. Like, I think she could absolutely make something that made a really great profit. She was on The Mandalorian. She's had action figures. That has not gone away. It hasn't. People don't. I mean, Mandalorian has gone away. I mean, we haven't had really a new, honest to God, Mandalorian story yet. And Book of Boba Fett did little to build that franchise up, I think. I don't know if the jury seems to be that it was not, it did not do as well. But let's put all that stuff to one side. Gina still has that happening with her, and I think people like her as that kind of character, not just that character. So I think there's room for her to, for her to find something or to build something that she owns, because that character is only her. It only works with her. And so that tells you a little bit about where her strength is, as an actor and as a star. I watched Exorcist with my niece recently. She was laughing the whole time. Some people do, although some of that dialogue, my God. Paranormal Activity had a few good moments for me. Blair Witch was just the ending. Yes, I see what you mean. Let's see here. Speaking of having it, Shelby Robertson's American Discord 94 Rage Tallies War #1, guys. Make it happen. That guy's doing some beautiful work. Yeah, check out his channel, American Discord, Shelby Robertson again, and Gary Martin's Instagram. John, thank you for making it rain with links. I do appreciate it, my friend. But yeah, I mean, I just, my biggest advice I would give to anybody who is trying to start an independent film company or an independent film project is your genre is horror. Straight up. Your genre is horror. If you're an older actor, your genre is Westerns, but Gina's not at that point remotely. But older male actors should definitely do a Western movie for sure. There's so many movie stars I would love to see do Westerns. Actually, right again, I think Razor Fist covered that, man. I mean, it's like, kindred spirits to be sure. And for someone like Gina, I think those action movies you guys were talking about, or that we talk about on Double Impact every week, that is something that Gina could absolutely bring back. She could absolutely do an action version of that on a much more, horror basis. That's what I'd love to see. John, I love that. Let's see. Welcome, Gary Martins. Yeah, John is making it rain. What can you do? The groomsmen laugh out loud. Aaron Lepresti's Wraith of God, Blood Hunters, guys. Check it out. Oh, for people who don't know Aaron Lepresti's work and don't know about Blood Hunters, I can't imagine that there are many of you, but let's do this. I got Aaron Lepresti's Wraith of God issue 1, and this is the preview for Blood Hunters. So you can tell it's right up my alley. And there you go. By the way, speaking of Wraith of God, Blood Hunters, this is the genre I want to see Gina Carano tackle. It ain't too much to ask, guys. You can get pull-over silicone masks now that look almost as good, like monster masks from, what's that company called? Crap, I forget their name, but Trick or Treat Studios or one of those studios is tied to them. And I'm blanking on it. But they do incredibly great masks, and they can customize them. Like, make it happen, man. You can make some great horror stuff. Project Reptile by Dojo Kun Indeed. Wraith of God, Blood Hunters. Eric Huffle's YouTube channel. Where's Eric Huffle's YouTube? Eric Huffle's YouTube channel. Lepresti, another one with it. Yeah, exactly. Indeed. John, I'm trying to get new videos ready. Indeed. Thank you for the link. I've been putting I've been put off comics, I'm guessing, for 20 plus years. There you go. I think that's what you were saying. Hard to imagine Gina doing jump scares or screaming. Yeah, I don't think she would. I think it would be for us to do. I'd want to see her take some heads off. I mean, I've seen you could shoot in some of the Halloween Horror Nights haunted houses. Those sets are so complicated. Okay, going to bed. Good night, everyone. Good night, Stephen Rockwood, my friend. Take care, sleep well, and thank you for everything you do. I appreciate it. Immortal Masks, that's the one. Thank you, Real Sean Crummell. Immortal Masks. They do killer stuff. and see a Stephen Rockwood drawing. Everybody's sending love to you, my friend. Yeah, Immortal Masks. They do such cool and crazy stuff. And you could do some really interesting work with people like that. But again, there's probably a million more things to do if you sat down with a budget. But I'd like to see something. I'd love to see people come together and rally around and help to build something around Gina. I mean, she seems like she's taken a little bit of time off to get her creative, feet under her and get her bearings, is what she seemed to be saying in the Clifton Duncan interview. Because I mean, it's been a lot. It's been go since all that stuff. She got her movie out. Now it's time to relax, or not relax, but now it's time to get a little bit of a break. But I want to see her doing cool stuff and come out swinging, no pun intended, when she comes back to do more stuff. That's a big thing. Yeah. Much love, man. Everybody's saying, hey, Steve, exactly. Welcome. Did Ripley scream an Alien? I haven't watched it. Yeah, I think, Sigourney doesn't really do, the hell is my coffee drink? Sigourney doesn't really do the shrieking thing per se, but I know she was absolutely terrified. Loved Stephen Rockwood right there. Cuffle's good point. I think the queen of Scream is Jamie Lee Curtis. That's right. With females in horror films. Gina starring in a Vasquez spin-off Aliens movie. That would be cool. Vasquez was the shit. That's the kind of character on some levels I see her as, but I also see her as not as a coffee drink, let me be clear. Do yourselves a favor, although I'm not sure it's suitable for work, dare I say, but Google Gina Instagram photo, and you'll see what an amazing looking woman she is. Then look at Gina Carano in fights. That's another element of her. Then listen to her talk about, maybe in the interview with Clifton Duncan, because she said she was self-described nervous when she was on the Daily Wire. Look at Gina talking about what she... yeah, I'm drinking coffee right now. It's time. It's 1 a.m, guys. It's morning. Love Sigourney in Galaxy Quest. She's fantastic in that. Loved. Gotcha. Gina is a very pretty one. Yeah, she's an incredibly beautiful human specimen. Let me say that. And then you put all that stuff together and you put her in a really cool environment. I want to see Gina walking through a haunted space with a freaking knife and a shotgun. Is that too much to ask? Come on, people. Let's make it happen. Yeah, I thought Linnea Quigley was the queen of Scream. Yeah, that's true. Of making us scream? Is that what that was? I don't know. Possibly. But yeah, I want that. Antoine Dennison, the groomsman. I see Carano in that sort of role as well. So hold on a second. Vasquez. Yeah, I think that would work. I see Carano in that sort of role as well. I can see her as a superb supporting character, but I can't envision a lead role for her where where she'll really shine. I'm glad you pointed that out. What I would do, or what I would suggest in any situation where she's in that movie, is it's going to be her side character. I think she needs a side character that brings different things to the table. And it's really hard to describe, but I think of, even though he's a quite outstanding actor, obviously, but if you take Wesley Snipes in Blade and you put him next to Chris Christopherson as Whistler, it gives more gravitas to it. I would love to see her have a character like that. But I mean, come on, man. It's like, with all due respect to Lucy Lawless, I can see, Gina Warrior Princess any day of the week. I think she could make that work. She needs a Lou Costello to her Abbott. That's right. She's definitely not a lead, but could be an awesome secondary character. Well, again, guys, look, let me make this case. And again, this is with all due respect to the actor, but oh my God, I can't believe I'm blanking on her name. Kate Beckinsale in the Underworld movies. Where do you rate her in terms of what's required for that role? I mean, she acts great. She did a great job with the action, but was she the star, or were those movies the star? If you see what I mean. So I think it happens. Still Waters don't film well. She needs to be shown making short work of zany attacks. But I agree with that. More iconic, less emotive. Yeah, let's look at because I think I see her as doing something that's much more about the look. It's much more Clint Eastwood in God, Pale Rider, like stuff like that. Great writing, great one-liners, great pulp, and just kick ass. People think Chris Pratt could be a lead. Didn't think he could be a lead until the first Guardians. You absolutely got it. It's all about that perfect mix between the project and the person. You know what I mean? The project and the person. And I would say that, they were talking about, I believe, Jon Favreau before he lost control over the whole, before Kathleen Kennedy decided to sabotage everything he was working on. I think that by firing Gina would be one of those things, was working on a show that was going to star Gina. So, and I have not seen the Soderbergh movie. I imagine that it's lean on the acting, high on the octane. But I really do believe that if they were seriously considering, which it sounds like they were, doing the the spin-off Mandalorian show with Gina as the lead, Jon Favreau must have had some sense of how he knew how to film her and what kind of scripts that she could do. So I don't doubt that she could do it. I really think she could pull it off. And apparently she was great in Terror in the Trenches. I just haven't seen it yet. But maybe you guys have seen it and you know something I don't know. Let's see here. People didn't think Chris Pratt. Oh, yeah, all those 90 action girl movies were looking sexy and kicking butt. I can't even remember Kate Beckinsale talking. I can't even remember her talking in that movie. I agree. KK is a petty woman. Indeed, she is petty. Get our coffee, Kathleen. Amen. Yeah, guys, look at and also look at Kate Beckinsale before all the plastic surgery. God, Kate Beckinsale, people in the world. This is not a knock. That's not a judgment. But Kate was a very average side character, and she did not have that kind of look that Gina was born with. So I really think you could make stuff. I don't doubt it, man. I think anybody who's disciplined and works hard, and who's, again, she's got a brand, in terms of she was on one of the biggest shows on Disney Plus. I don't think it's really been eclipsed in terms of pop culture impact yet. I'd say there's something to work with. Without a doubt. I mean, I think that's academic at this point, not to bring up academia, because fuck. Oh my God. Let's see what we got here. There we are. But what you can see with this paint, one of the fun things about it is I have the ability to do additive and subtractive work. So if I have something where I just rough it in, I can go in and then just kind of paint in some of the edges so you can get a sense of like how the character is going to look. And at this point, basically, it's your moment in the story where they're talking, they're mid-conversation, and then good old Greylock. Let's go in close on him so you guys can get a real sense of, let's let it focus. And I'm going to move it up a little bit for better lighting. Let's get a look at him so the camera can focus. That is what's happening in the shadows right there. Oy Vaishanth, do you watch Sav Says? She had a short today, just mind-bending. I have not. I've got to check that out. Terror in the Trenches, guys, back at my brother Vaughn. How sad for pop culture. Yeah, Joe M. Sontag, YouTube channel. Yeah, Gina's Black Terror. I can kind of see some version of that. Yeah, Vaughn could create a cool character for Gina too, by the way. Oy Vaishanth, you watch this as when age did you get into painting? I'm guessing you're saying. What age did I get into painting? I got into painting. I really started trying to paint when I was 21. And then I would say I was painting, like consistently painting more and more. Oh, God, what age would I have been? Maybe 30s? Really, I was painting in my 30s, I think. That's when I started. So it's probably been about 15 or 16 years of seriously painting. And what do you do if you mess up? Paint over it. That's what it is. Pretty sure he wasn't asking when you... Yeah, I got kids. I always get anxious when you paint over your already beautiful paintings to change them. I know. I don't know how you do that. I always know I could paint it exactly the way it was again if I had to, but I have yet to be in a position where I was wrong when I repainted something. So here's a werewolf face right here. I changed this werewolf face this week. Go back and look at the images of it, and you'll see that. But I needed the face, as I stated earlier. I needed the face to match what I was doing here, which I think is probably the best werewolf profile painting I've freaking done, and maybe one of the best I've ever seen. Not to toot my own horn, I fucking love that painting. And again, people who missed this book, awesome. I'm going to charge you a lot to catch up. Not a ton, but more. It's going to be 35 next time you see it. It ain't going to be 25, because the quality of this book and everything else that's going on, it's got to be there. But it's look at this face. Look at the way this character is positioned. He's got now the intensity I needed him to have. He's got to be ready to kick ass. No, right? There it goes. You guys are cracking me up. Yeah. I liked the other face. Just hey, it's allowed, man. You have to overpaint to let the scientists in the future discover it. Yeah, that's right. Sick. Yeah, that's the goal. Yeah, you guys are having fun. That's the key. That's what we're doing here, man. Werewolves are so hard to draw. It's hard to draw good ones. I'll tell you that. It's even harder to draw great ones. And my objective with all this stuff is to draw and paint great werewolves. It's really what it comes down to, and it's the same thing with, like, you guys have seen this stuff, but the sexiness of the sacrifice scene, like, that's not even done, but you get the sense of what the broad strokes of the brush are, no pun intended. But you get a sense of, like, having this character smugly looking down at Laurel when she's about to be sacrificed, so to speak. That's the stuff that makes it happen. And that's all roughed in at this point. It's going to get more detailed, but I am here to sell people on, like, the pulp world of this stuff. The goal of this is to create something that is going to drive people's, to say, if that page is in that book, then that is worth the price of admission. I need to get a hold of that book. Well, think about a book where every single page is going to be that, and you understand what Nosfero is. I mean, Nosfero is a book where every single page is an image that you are excited to see and that you want to go back and look at again. It's a different way of doing comic books than you see Marvel and DC doing right now. And you don't see a lot of that stuff happening, but you're going to see a lot of that happening with Nosfero. Oh, thank you, Funny Pictures Comics. I do appreciate that. Broad strokes. Is that misogynist? If it is, I'm cool with it. Gina as Laurel. No way, man. She gets her own character. She gets her own character. I'd want to create something crazy. Wow, I had no idea Kate Beckinsale had plastic surgery. One of the few times I've seen someone come away looking better. Antoine, did I just blow your mind? My friend told me that, and I went and I was like, what are you talking about? Like, because I had never seen her before. And she had quite large front teeth. She had all that stuff reworked. Timmy Mello, I don't think Sean talked to him about it in another stream a while back. He owns the rights, though, so he should. It's a great book. What book are we talking about? Oh, the inking book. Yes. Do you know if Gary Martin is still printing those inking books? Yes, he owns the rights to it. And yes, Gabe wants him to launch a crowdfunder for it. Hello, Random McGranderson. Of course. Yeah, man. Let's see here. I was never into supernatural comics, but the art in Nosfero pulled me in. That's the goal. Horror comics can be so cool, or horror action sword and sorcery comics can be so cool, but they have to be illustrative. They have to be painted. I think that even the pen and ink work that Aaron Lopresti is doing kind of shows that, but you really have to up your game. You have to think about it like it's a creature movie, and like our concept art book or behind the scenes art of these movies. Antoine Dedison's Red Empire's Frontiers. Sign up there, guys. Make it happen. There's Antoine Dedison's YouTube channel too. But yeah, I mean, there's so much to be done and so much that can be done with all of these books. We just have to make the stuff beautiful. We need to make it worth the price of admission. And that's exactly what we're doing with Nosfero. It's going to be a book that people see, and I want them to say, oh, I didn't know Comicsgate did stuff like that. I didn't know stuff like that was happening in the indie scene. And you guys are going to say, yeah, we funded it. We made that happen. We didn't just buy the book. We invested in the book. We backed the book. And that is why it's here. And that is why you guys are going to pay more. Because I really don't, I'm not making a disposable comic book here. I'm making a book that is going to be square bound and that you can slide into your shelf. And that's none of the books that we're making in CG are designed to be or feel disposable. They're meant to be collectible in that sense that they're beautiful and you want to fill out your bookshelf with them. So that's the plan, man. That is the plan. Too far. Too far? Question mark. What did I miss? We make love to the book. No, Bob Ross would say that. He'd be like, make love to the canvas. I've been hoping to get a third edition of that inking book, but it's practically unavailable. Yeah, it is. It is really hard to find. Hopefully Gabe gets on him. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Groomsman, can you get on stream sometime? Groomsman, can you get on stream sometime, or do you need to keep your anonymity? To the groomsman, Antoine Desson. However, I think she had a new round of surgery, and it's a little more obvious this time around. Yeah, aging is hard. Too far. Yeah, no, it's fine. You do what you need to do, man. The quitting while you're ahead thing is always a good bit of advice for anything. Yeah, but poor when actors do stuff like that to their faces. I was looking at somebody recently, and I was like, "What did you do to your head? Stop it." Stop it. You had something good going. Grow old a little gracefully. Just let it happen. But I just think when you live in that world, it's got to be hard. But then Kate Beckinsale, like, how old is she? Oldest on the Farm, just off Orwell Lane's channel. There you go. Let me see how old Kate Beckinsale is. Because I mean, she's probably older than me by a lot. Kate Beckinsale, 49 years old. My God. So, I mean, crap. She's older than me by 3 years. And she was married to Len Wiseman until 2019. Let's see here. Where is Kate? Where's Kate Beckinsale? Oh, Brian Cox is in that. Holy cow, man. That's crazy. Sorry, it's a new movie that she's in. Brian Cox is such a great actor, man. He was great in Troy. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's tough to say. 49 years old? Damn, son. That's not bad. Let's see here. More is not always better. Indeed. What did you do to your head? It happened. She is 49. Antoine Dennison, let me tell you something. No. 49 years old. Smash or pass. She's like 50. There you go. John, what? I don't have anything good to say. Plus, I don't have a real setup yet. That sounds like cowardice talking. Yeah, you should pop in here with a terrible setup and see how it goes. That's what I do, man. I didn't have a good setup when I started. That is the key to overcoming all of the terrors. Is the terror in the trenches, dare I say. Is to just come on to one of these streams. How else are people going to get canceled in this world? Yeah, man. I will tell you this. The thing that's so cool about Nosfero, for me anyway, is that people are starting to hear about it from, like, I had a week where there were a lot of new sales this week. Like, for Nosfero, it was a really good week. And so what my understanding of it is that I hate you, Shant. Yeah, that's why I'm here. The groomsman was meaning to stream with Shant. I'm sure the two of you banter would be gold. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, here's what I might do. Let me see here. Messages. Let's see here. And let's see here. He can type his name in as the groomsman. He doesn't have to turn his camera on. I don't understand what the problem is. Holy cow. There we go. Holy cow. All righty, let's see what I can do here. Next. All right, there you go. And let me go to invite. And then I'm going to go to copy to clipboard. And then I'm going to go here. And I'm going to send the link to his Twitter private messages. There you go. So there you go. You don't have to turn your camera on. Just have a groomsman icon and, go from there. It's not rocket science, man. Come on. John, you're too kind, buddy. Plus, banter means a back and forth with Shant. There's no back and forth. You think that, but, learn how to return a serve, fool. Yeah, Nosferatu. Well, Nosfero, Nosferatu crossover. There's a lot of those in there, but let me tell you this: the second issue of Nosfero is going to be Nosfero 2. That is intentional. Ball hog, huh? Well, it depends on what kind of balls we're talking about. And then he just shuns your invite. That's right. You're right. I don't know what the hell's going on. Groomsman. There you go. I don't know why he's throwing balls around in here. Dojo Kun. I hate you. Yeah, there you go. That's a good place to live, brother. I've been hated by some of the best. Let me tell you something, kid. I've been hated by some of the best. Ah, Lordy B. Man. But yeah, I mean, it's like when I think about the work that we're doing and the stuff that we're doing in CG, I'm endlessly optimistic. I'm endlessly optimistic because since I was a kid, starting with the first comic I ever bought, which was the trade paperback of the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then the comics that sent me into overdrive after reading Marvel, the Marvel artists for a while when they all moved and jumped ship to Image. So I'm all about independence. Yeah, if you're not causing hate, are you really doing anything? Agree. And let me say this: bouillabaisse sauce. I got a bathtub of bouillabaisse, kids. Yeah, Gabe L. Type's YouTube channel where the bouillabaisse. This is the thing. We're coming up with an action movie. I've decided, the three of us, and it's going to be titled "Bouillabaisse and on the Case." That's going to be our tagline, or "Bouillabaisse and in your face." Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. That is how we do. We do what we do. That is the key. That is the key. Yeah, I want to create cool shit. That's my goal. Yeah, send Jericho the link. I don't know if Jericho's, well, he's probably up, but I mean, we talked for like an hour today on stuff. I think he's probably done with me. But if Jericho's in the audience and he wants to show up, man, make it happen. I will have Jericho on here any freaking time he wants to. Uh-oh. Hold on, folks. Boom! There he is. What's up, brother?
What's up?
You sound tired, man.
I don't know, man. I don't know how this works.
You don't know how this works. You sound fine. You
Yeah.
sound good. What is up, man?
It's good to hear from you.
You don't sound like it.
You're putting me in a weird spot. That's why.
How long have you known me? This shouldn't be new.
Exactly. That's
This
why I'm so
shouldn't be new,
nervous.
man.
That's why I'm nervous, because I know you.
Yeah, that's craziness, man. I'm just gonna sit here and just let the airtime. No, boy, and look at this. People are saying it. Boy is sauced. Yeah, he is. He's drunk as a skunk. If you know him, that is what he does. Now he's gone. He's gone. Where did he go?
Sorry.
No, that was. I'm offended. No.
Move,
So
right?
listen, brother. Does this remind you of college, any? Does this remind you of our youth and our summers hanging out?
That's the only reason I come in. That's the only reason
That's
I come
right,
in.
man.
I
That's
love it.
right, man.
I love it.
Yeah, man. It's the good stuff, man. It's the good stuff, and we're like fine wine. We're improving with age.
I don't know about that.
Dude, let me tell you this, man. Let me say this though. This is funny. I will tell you, you have watched me, and you've watched the whole comic thing for ages, and you've watched me, with the art books and everything else getting to this point. I will tell you this: you understand how momentous and crazy of a thing this book is, don't you?
Yeah,
it's nuts.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I mean,
It
I've had the privilege of kind of watching you do this for how many years now? Like
1994 is when we met.
Yeah, and just talking about comics. That's the only difference between watching your streams and being there in person. Is like I'm not in a pile of your books, like in the corner, just reading all the random books that you have and going through them and doing it in person. And we should do that sometime soon. We got to arrange a trip or something because it's been too long.
It has been, man. It's craziness, but it's like those times. I think that's one of the things that people you know, when you look back and you look at all the stuff that's going on, and then you look to what you want to be doing in the present, one of the biggest things for me is that it's spending time with people where you can make those memories and you can make those things happen, you know? And it's like, I could wonder all day why I've never and can't get tired of that sort of, you know, piss and vinegar, let's go and make things happen that I think I've been doing since I was, 12 or 14. But it's like, I'm still here and I'm still, doing that stuff. And I've gotten to the point to where it's like, if there was anything that needed to change, I think what needed to change was my, I don't want to say my approach to it, but I think I needed to trust in that process a little bit more and bring, look for those people that you need to be around in order to make this stuff happen. And when I found, what Ethan and all of these guys were doing, man, I mean, it was like I went from, hanging out and doing videos and talking like a lot of people. And I love it. Here we are, man.
Yeah.
It's bananas, and it just keeps getting better and better. I mean, it's like I've got a couple pieces in Malin's book and all that other stuff. But I mean, you remember the submissions that I was sending out to.
Yeah. I remember your fat Superman.
I love that fat Superman.
I do too. And it's exactly what they did like years later.
Superman for all seasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
They did that, like everything I was trying to do, man. And it was like, but this is the thing, right? I was never going to, and I was too dumb to realize how broke that industry was at the time I was getting out of college. So there really weren't a lot of jobs, to have to begin with. But I
don't think it was that you were dumb, Shant. I mean, I think it was just like, it was the dream, right? We all had that dream. And as young as we were, nobody had the experience or the like insight to know how that industry was. I think now as the economy has changed for comics and how people and how creators create stuff and get it straight to their audience, that's changed the game. That's totally changed the game. And I think your subscribers and the people that watch your streams and stuff, they already kind of can see it in how you talk and just kind of see your personality. But I've seen it over decades of like, you just won't quit. Like you don't quit. And so to see you kind of succeed how you're succeeding now is not even a surprise to me. Like, of course you would be doing this. And it's like, I think it's like the thing that makes me smile every time I see you do your streams and produce the artwork you're producing now. It's like, it's just a convergence of all of who you are, like you are a great talker, you're charismatic, you're a teacher, you are a great artist, like all of that stuff, like coming together it's just fun. It's really amazing to see. So I'm just so proud of you. And
oh man, Jesus,
I love it.
Turning into an intervention. Fine, I'll stop eating Frankenberry cereal. What do you want from me, man?
I'm going to make this embarrassing for you. I'm going to turn the tables and make this embarrassing.
It's not possible. I cannot be embarrassed. How do I word this? I am in the joy of having teenage children. So I am the most embarrassing thing in the world right now. And I have to say this.
We thought we were cool before. We thought we were cool. And now kids will just show you that you're not.
They shred you that way. Yeah. Here you go. You say, I think this is accurate. This comment right there.
Totally.
Man, that's what it is. Yeah, when you're in your 20s and 30s, the politics is not quite as obvious. Yeah, Fat Superman would be perfect today. I mean, I hope to continue to grow into being Fat Superman myself. I've seen your personality I've seen your personality unsubbed, refunded. Absolutely right. God in heaven, wait, where's Jonathan Jetty St. Peter? Jonathan would just not quit and die. Yeah, groomsman is grooming Shanth. It happens, since college. We wish we knew how to quit each other. Shanth is being exposed as being a human being. Absolutely right. Groomer, man. There you go. God bless the chat, man. They're there to keep us honest. But it's funny too because you meet people that in life you meet a lot of different kinds of people, and one of the things that if you're a sane human being, one of the things that makes you the happiest is when you get to see people that have been working hard towards any kind of goal be able to achieve those things. And I count myself very fortunate that I have, friends like yourself, friends like, my wife, Lauren, friends like my buddy, Nick, and they're all just kind of, they see the stuff I'm doing and they know this isn't, this isn't a game, to me, or this isn't about, any of that other stuff. It's this love of comics. It's been decades, going. And that's really what it is, man. Hail, Jasper.
And I think,
or Joseph, good to see you.
I don't think you would be happy succeeding in any other way but on your own terms. And that's what makes this so amazing to kind of witness. I think like if you landed that sweet Marvel job or you were drawing Superman, I don't think you would be as happy as you are now, kind of working on your own stuff.
I don't think they'd be as happy either, but I see your point. No, no, it's like, well, this is the crazy thing about it, right? Is that the weirdest thing when I think back about, my 20s and all of that kind of stuff, and my youth even, the thing about it is the drive is great, and the drive definitely helps. It really has helped with some things, but the toughest thing to kind of realize for me anyway, that is one of those things probably about just gaining more experience, and I love that quote, experience is what you get when you didn't get what you were trying for. One of my all-time favorite quotes. But as I've gained experience, the thing I've come to realize is there's certain things you don't have to figure out. There's stuff that time takes care of. You know what I mean? Like it's when you watch your kids and it's like, when is my kid going to ever get past this thing? And then one day it's just gone. It's done. Like they processed it and they moved.
Yeah.
And the world works in that way too. I remember when I first saw crowdfunding, I wouldn't have known what to do with it at that point, but it's like everything sometimes starts to converge where you get into a situation that's like you've been preparing for it your whole life, but you didn't know you were. And that's incredible. It really is incredible.
Yeah. I mean, hats off, man. I know that, I know there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes and even just kind of putting yourself out there. And somebody in the chat was like, he's having a conversation and painting at the same time. WTF. I mean, it's true. Like, I don't know how people do that. I would just be like drawing the same line and erasing it for like an hour.
Yeah. I mean, see, it's weird. It's honestly, the only thing that's ever made sense to me. And that is it's a very weird thing to kind of describe, but it was kind of my first relationship was with like, the idea of just sitting down with pencil and paper.
Oh, I thought you
and
were
painting.
about a girl. I got scared.
No. Well, God, you know that one. What was, you remember the nickname of my high school girlfriend, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, there you go. Kind of scary. We'll see.
she was kind of scary. She was
scary. She scared a lot of people. She scared a lot of people that way. Oh shit, we've got Rob the Replicator. Who is Sean talking to? That's for something. Yeah, the Grizzly. Yeah, it's my buddy from college. There, Rob. How you doing?
What's up, Rob?
Good to see you, brother. How are things in Australia? It's a crazy thing, man. It's like we have all of these different experiences in terms of how we do things. And I think that I see a lot of people, one thing that was really good advice that my brother Nick here in Rhode Island gave me gave someone else. And then I heard it and said, that's brilliant. They were asking about college admissions or something to him, but it was something, like that. And he said, the person was asking like, what advice do you have for getting into a college? And even though it may sound kind of, like a specific question, he gave advice I think you'd give anybody. He said, getting into college or the admissions process, the best thing you could ever do is not think about it as a safe to be cracked, as a thing that you're trying to figure out. And I thought, wow, that's really great advice. And I think it's the same thing with, your artwork and your career and your success. It's just kind of staying back and sort of working hard, moving in a direction, but also giving some of it up to God, for lack of a better way of phrasing it, Yeah. And I think that stuff helps.
Well, I mean, how many times did we get together and like dream of like what our ideal careers would be or whatever, or where we would end up after we got out of school. And
Yeah.
I think we're in so different places, so different places from where we thought we would be, you know?
Yep.
And it's like you have this illusion in your 20s or, you know, early 20s, you have this illusion that you can control where you're going, you know?
Sure.
And to a certain extent, you know, you can do things and you can go in a certain path. But as I've gotten older, I realize like I have no control of life whatsoever. I think kids will do that to you too.
Yeah, they will. I always tell, like, I write little fairy tales and fables for myself to help me process stuff in the future. And one of my favorite fairy tales I tell myself just for gallows laughs is I like to imagine, maybe it's because I listened to The Devil Came Down to Georgia too many times, so forgive me, folks in the chat. But the thing that kind of got me was that I thought, what if it was the devil came down to Rhode Island and said to me, all right, Shant, I'm going to give you some control and some power over this. Your wife is pregnant. I guarantee you're going to have a healthy kid. What do you want, a boy or a girl? And I gave an answer. And I erased one of my kids because I wouldn't think twins was an option.
Right. There you go.
And so the unpredictability of these things where things turn out to be more magnificent or more fascinating than you thought they could be is really what makes the whole experience so great. And I'm always excited to see how people turn out. I'm always excited to see, how things play out. But I've gotten to that point that I'm sure you're at where it's like the desire to try to control everything and try to make, it's like you just go, I'm going to take care of what I need to do. I'm going to, perform as best as I can and try to be as conscientious as I can about things. But in terms of controlling other people, what other people do or how people react to me, I mean, it's like, that's just nuts, man. That's just a prison.
Yeah. I go through life now just like, I just need to survive today.
Yep.
I just need to eat something.
Yeah.
Not die.
See, that is a fascinating thing. I handle things slightly differently. I go through life. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, this again. And then I think, well, I could always die tomorrow night. So it's a different, that's probably where we're different.
There we go. Yeah.
It keeps me going. There you go, Sean.
That's an East Coast, West Coast thing.
Yeah, that's an East Coast. It is totally a New England thing. New Englanders are like, we're bordering on miserable, freezing, Eastern Europe in our attitudes. Yeah, I'll shoot towards some kids. That's right. I heard it. I'll testify. As best as isn't a person. God, you guys are killing me, man. But yeah, I look at it and I go, as best as is a carcinogenic. So you got to be careful with as best as. But yeah, you and this is the biggest thing for me too.
You got to be quick with the chat too. See, like
the chat
is built for this, man. You're built.
Yeah, seriously. Well, that was one of the things that people said when I told there was the double reaction. When I told people that we were expecting twins, they were like, "Oh shit!" And then the next thing they said is, "Well, if it was going to happen to somebody." At least he's a multitasker. It's like, it was what it was. It was nuts, man. One of my favorite stories is when I came out to you guys' place, and Lauren basically looked at me, and I'd been taking care of her and the kids for a while. She goes, "Let's fly. I'm flying out to Texas, and I'm going to go stay with my family, and then you go out and spend some time with the boys because you need to see your friends or you're going to die." Because I looked like hell on earth. And I remember I told you guys about that, and you guys were like, just come on out here, man. We'll feed you. You can sleep. I haven't slept in months, man. Those kids were crazy. Hold on a second. What is this bullshit, Rob? Shanth came out. Yes, I'm gay. Sorry, I thought you knew that, Rob. Damn it. I'm sorry. I hate when Rob miss sexual identities. I don't know what it's called anymore. The world got too complex. But I remember when I came out there and you guys were like, let's go get some ramen. Let's go to some bookstores. Do you want to go to Skywalker Ranch or do you want to go to ILM? And we had that great trip.
That was so fun.
And
we went to Disneyland.
And we went to Disneyland. Holy cow, you're right. Yeah. That was the earlier trip, man. That was wild.
Was that a different trip?
That was the first
Oh,
time I
yeah.
went out there. We went
That's
to
right.
Disneyland, and then
That's
we
right.
went down to Image Comics to drop
That's
off
right.
my
We went
comic.
to Catella Way or whatever. Catella.
Yes, we did that early office. Yeah, man.
And
Talk about
I think
motivation.
didn't you bring a submission?
I did. I brought a submission, and I was like, "Is there anybody I can see?" And they were like, "No." And I dropped it off. I was like, "Are you sure?" No. Fucking hell, man.
See, don't quit.
Yeah, man.
Can't quit.
I got no quit in me, man.
Yeah,
Got no
no
quit
quit.
in me. Yeah, I mean, my favorite bad, great comic experience ever. This one's even, see, that may sound bad, but the worst one was when we went down to New York for the illustration portfolio review. I know you know about this because I know I told you about it because it would have been big news. Showed my work to Mark Chiarello.
Oh,
Mark
wasn't this during school?
Yeah, this was during school. This was senior year.
Yeah.
And he goes, "This stuff is great. It's rare to see someone with your level of draftsmanship. Contact me when you get out of college and we'll hire you." Never responded again. It was so brutal, dude. The amount of things, man, that were just not coming together. And it was, but here's the thing though, right? It was all for this, man.
Yeah.
It was all for this. I would have never made this work and been on this road or had the skill, like being a broadcaster as a part of your career. Thank God for teaching, you know, Ghosted.
Exactly.
There you go. A crackhead clip that. That's right. Sean came out. Oh, wait, never mind. Yeah. I mean, seriously, do you mean yeah. Okay. I came out as straight. There you have it. And that's like, we're now going back and forth. Disneyland confirmed gay. I've got some photos from that trip that would confirm it. Two of my brothers in certain hats, but we're going to try not to go there. What are you going to do next? I'm going to Disneyland. That's right. Ghosted. When does it all finally come together? Is it a signpost or something? Well, here's a funny thing. I will answer that sincerely. This is really what it is. Much like when you are, are struggling, out in the middle of the ocean, when you stop struggling and you just try to float, man, and go with it. That really is the thing. It's like it's the frantic anxiety that makes you busy and not productive that gets in the way of so many things. And that's what you get to certain stages where you get to levels of success and you accomplish things that you think are going to be the answer. And when you realize that the answer doesn't exist out there in those external things, you start to kind of, be there instead of looking for things to just be resolved and tied up in a bow. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, man?
No, I think it's true. I think, I don't know if this is an age thing or what, but like when you're younger, you're constantly chasing that idealism, that dream, right?
Yeah.
And you work hard, and you're in the right place at the right time and you meet the right people and you get the right opportunities and you can achieve that dream. It's possible for sure. I wholly believe it. But I would say most of the people that do get to that point, that'll never satisfy, that'll never fully satisfy. You'll be like, well, that's great, but it wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be, or, there's something else over here. So yeah, I think to answer that question, I don't think at least it hasn't happened to me where you get to a point of like, oh, okay, I made it. This is it. I'm done. I can die happy. And, it's kind of like, and maybe that's an artist thing. You're just constantly struggling and that's part of it. That's the whole identity, is that struggle, like, and if you're not struggling, then you're either dead or you're like numb, like.
I don't know, man. My goals were probably different than yours. Like I came off to college with a sketchbook and a dream, which was to secure a white woman. Got that done. And then after that, I tried to dream a little bit further. And I said, I want to give them to invent a kind of Cheeto that will give me burning indigestion. And so once they made flaming hot Cheetos, I mean, that was it. Like, I'm done. I got nothing. Now I'm working on this book, but it's just a pointless drag to death.
Yeah.
It's oh man. But no, I mean, it's like, this is the thing, it's when I think about what industries were like to get in, to at any time. I mean, let's talk about when we went into college, then 4 years later, how different all of that was. And then 4 years later, how different all of that was. I mean, I was laying out some artwork in Cork the other day. And no, sorry to give you a flashback.
Jeez.
Hell, end of days, right? Like that's like the end of days. It's like, get out your stone tablets, kids. You know, and you think about when people go, you know, they're doing computer coloring now. Boy, does that make us sound old to say that phrase. It's digital, man. And then me learning digital coloring. And now what am I doing? I'm working in traditional media. I'm still scanning it in, laying it out in InDesign, but holy cow, I'm like, you know, going to this more traditional method, and it just cracks me up. It's all there.
Yeah.
You know, it's all there. It's craziness.
Yeah, I think that, you know, the chasing the dream or like the struggle, it goes from, at least for me, it's gone from like external to internal now. You know, it's like internally you're trying to find that, like you said, like that, that, you know, peace or that satisfaction. It has nothing to do with the things I'm chasing that are external. It's like, oh, am I okay with who I am and where my place is in this world and what I'm doing and what I've achieved and the family I've built and all that kind of stuff. So it's different goals, not that I don't have the same artistic goals that I had, but it's totally different.
Yeah. Again, like, we have many differences. I mean, for me, it's like, who in this family is plotting on me? Who do I need to be really watching? What traps have I set if they attack? You know, there's a lot, again, different strokes for different folks, as I always say. You know, like, you know, are there radio things in my teeth? How many teeth do I pull out before I say, okay, there's definitely not any in there? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, is it me? I don't know. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, it's so funny because I just remember, you know, just things are, I've always sort of been like, you know, I've always been sort of like out there hanging out, doing the art thing and doing things. And I never really thought I would meet people who did this kind of thing. So it's always been kind of a solo thing. And I will say this, that the only reason I think I've ended up, you know, doing the things that I do is because I've just always worked best on my own. But I think that there has never been a way for an introvert to get out and talk to large groups of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you okay? That's right. But it's like there hasn't been. This is crazy. Yeah, my dentist does love me. You have no idea. He sees me coming and he's like going, "There goes college." What
you're basically saying is you're more comfortable in a dark room.
Yep.
Not seeing any of the faces of the 1,000 oversubscribers that you have.
Yep. That's right. That's right.
Not hearing their voices of dissent.
You know, it's so fun. No, that's never a problem here. People are like, Shav confirmed gay. And I'm kind of like, you know, maybe they know something. Maybe it's, you know, maybe they're right.
Yeah.
So, you know, tomorrow morning, first thing I'm going to tell Lauren, it's over. Period. You know what I mean? The chat said I need to live the rest of my life as a gay man. Doesn't matter what I want. The chat saw it. And the chat is never wrong. Never forget that. The chat is never wrong.
I think your followers need to see like what the rest of your day looks like, because you're like totally on, like in your element, sitting down, painting. You're like Shant man, you know. Yeah. But we got to see you when you wake up at like 2 p.m. after having a late night stream.
No, dude, it's scarier than that.
Yelling at you and Lauren asking you to like take out the trash.
Oh no, there's some of that stuff, but this is the reality of it, right? I swear it's kind of scary. The reality is that I will wake up at about 10 or 11 when I go to bed at 5, which has not shifted very much since my youth. Sometimes I wake up earlier, and then I will get up, come over here, and just start painting like a machine. It's the craziest thing. And like my wife is always like, the missus is always like, you know, hey, what's going on in there? You know, because I'll get super, super quiet. Then I'll talk and she'll be like, okay, enough. And I just go, man. Yeah, Jenny, yeah, we've already, yeah. It's over. Yeah, guys, join me. You will become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. But yeah, I mean, it's yeah, but I can absolutely be isolated and quiet forever. Like that's just it. Whenever Google sends me ads for HIV,
Wow,
stuff like that. I always think, do they know something I don't? Listen, you never know. The algorithm can predict things. Yeah, like they started actually sending me ads for my funeral planning, which I thought was odd.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have the power. Yeah, I mean it's a funny thing because people. I remember when you used to come by my dorm room, and I was, of course, really living healthy. I think I was a vegan then, but I'm not positive. And people would just.
Does the chat know? Like, I feel like I need to bring some reality here.
You can bring some reality to them if you need to. My kids will probably not watch this stream. No.
I could not hang out in Sean's room, his dorm room, for very long because it was like walking into. It was like so filled with smoke. I could not I couldn't even see in front of me. So I would just borrow comics and then take them to my room.
But what kind of smoke are you talking about? Because they might get confused.
It was like you were just straight. You were like a crazy smoker. I thought you were going to die. There was one time I think you.
I'm going to die, man. like, let's be clear.
I think there was one. I think there was one time. Maybe it was right before you stopped cold turkey, but you're like, I think you coughed up blood or something like that. And we're like, oh, that's not good.
Yeah. Well, what happened was it wasn't blood. It was just a piece of lung. But I see your point. I mean, you're bringing it home. But this is the kind of thing, right? This is the kind of crazy discipline. I hear when people talk about that, they're always like, there was like, so how did you stop? And I was like, I stopped. That was like, I'll tell you the reason. Actually, I will tell you the reason I stopped. And this is, I'm not trying to bag on anybody who has that particular wonderful habit. The greatest fucking thing ever. Sorry. I told Lauren, I said, if you and the kids ever die, first thing I'm doing, I can go into a convenience store. There will be no funeral. Someone else can handle that. I'm going to just smoke my life away. But what was so funny about it is when I think about it, is I went down to Disney World for a vacation freshman year of college. And it was the weirdest thing. And back then, the theme parks didn't have any policies against it at all. You could just like walk through and smoke a cigarette if you wanted to. And there was this dad and I hadn't been there, in ages, but we thought it'd be a funny thing to do is just, drive down and do it. And I went there, and there was this dad with his kid, and his kid was just kind of holding his hand. His son was holding his hand. And he kind of just leaned back, like away from his dad, just a little bit, like having fun as a kid. And I saw him. The kid looks over his shoulder, and he sees me. And I was just about to light a cigarette, and he looked over his shoulder at me, and he looked at me, and for a moment, I felt like I was seeing things from his perspective, or I imagined what it'd be like to see things from his perspective. And I looked at the state of myself sort of almost from the outside. And I said, if I was his age, when I was his age, if I saw myself now, I would have been like, that's not a good way to go. And I decided I was going to be done. And that was that.
Yeah.
I mean,
or it was coughing up a lung.
Yeah. And then, of course, one of my feet came off. And someone said, you have a new thing called type 7. And what it means is that your body's blood is now high fructose corn syrup. And that's it. Yeah. And so I was crying, and then I realized it was just my eye dissolving.
Oh man.
And this is why I was like, I was in, this is the worst thing, dude. I'm telling you, it ain't good. I was in here working, and Lauren's been watching a lot of crazy action movies lately. I can't imagine what that's about, but she's like watching Shanth entertainment, right? So I'm in this room, and I'm sitting here, and I just am kind of listening to what she's doing, and I just start giggling and laughing my head off. And she's like, "What are you laughing at?" And I said, and I said, if I tell you, you're gonna probably leave me. And she goes, "Are you laughing at the sound of gunfire?" And I totally was. I was like, "Ah, shit." Yeah, what are you gonna do? But it's just, it is what it is. I said, I always tell her, I go, it's when I'm sitting here and I'm drawing, I'm kind of like, my attitude, it's like when I was when I was younger and I was in school and I was getting my ass kicked, and I remember getting punched in the head one time, and I said to this kid, and I mean I was busted up, and I said to this kid, "You're gonna break your hand." And it was just because the attitude is, it's like you get to a certain point where you just kind of, you're going to do what you have to do, or you're going to do the things that are important to you, because nobody cares if you're miserable. Nobody cares if you're happy in that sense at that time. And it helps. Now, the real crazy fun part about what's going on, what started going on when I hit college, and certainly certain times when I was a kid, is you meet people who actually do give a damn and who actually do back you and support you and want to see the work succeed. And that's what these folks in the chat are all about. That's what makes, what we do here so great. And, Lauren has said to me,
John just asked, Shant lives in the ghetto. It was actually like rural Tennessee. So
yeah, it was the middle of nowhere. It was like little deliverance country. Shant in the 80s one-liners while getting bullied. Oh, it was fun. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know what we saw the other day? We watched the Truman Show, and seeing that that neighborhood totally reminds me of you.
Yeah, dude.
The subdivision.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. I was telling my kids, I was like, we were there.
Yeah, that's right, man. We were there, and we hung out in that house that he walks out of.
Yeah.
That was before the night before I got married, when you were the groomsman.
That's right. That's right.
And yeah, man, those were
crazy
times.
I think I told you this, or I think you might have known that like got in my head of like proposing to my wife after I saw you go through your wedding.
And I know what happened when you called me with that news.
What happened?
You don't remember this?
I don't remember.
You called me up and you said, "Hey man, I've got something to tell you." And what did I say?
I don't remember.
You used to tell me that all the time. I said,
no?
"Oh shit."
Yeah.
And you were like, I'm gonna propose. I go, I thought that's what you were gonna say. Now it wasn't meant to be negative, but profanity is sort of how I think, yeah, you ain't kidding. We've known each other. I've known him longer than I've known anybody else. I'm gay. Hey, listen, you're welcome here, my friend. And John says it too. I mean, I know that's out of order, but let's pretend that's what he was responding to. Yeah, man. I mean, it was a crazy time, because it's like, we didn't think we were young when we met, because, when you're 18 or whatever we were at that point, you're the oldest you've ever been, as my wife likes to say. So you think you knew a lot, like you think you know a lot. And then you look back when you're in your 40s, you're what I consider mid 40s, but late 40s is how I think of it. I'm in my 47th year now. When I look at this,
You're 47 already?
No, I'm 46, but I'm in my 47th year.
Come one of those.
I finished my 46. I'm on when I get to 47, I'm done with it.
I don't turn the age until the day of.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Because I'm crazy, I can't stand numbers that end in 7. So I made a deal with my wife that when I turn 47, we're gonna say I'm 48 for 2 years.
Oh gosh,
because I can't freaking deal with that number, man. That's the problem with being on the spectrum. It's I'm like, fucking no, it ends in 7s. No way, I can't deal with it, man. I've had I figured out when I was on Instagram there were certain things I could post, in terms of like artwork or things that weren't popular or would lose me followers. And sometimes I would do that deliberately if I was on a 7 to get back to a number that ended in a 6.
That's messed up.
Dude, it is the funniest freaking thing in the world. But that's
when the algorithm's like, I guess he doesn't want followers anymore. remove.
Yeah, I will tell you this. It probably does, but the funniest thing in the world is when I Google search for reference, I just love to imagine somebody at Google trying to guess who I am based on reference searches. Well, let's see. He's into Revolutionary War stuff, and he's into craziness. And
Really quick, one of the
112
things
scale
when
action figures.
when you were talking about
I did.
this is totally tangent, but when you were talking about like low budget and kind of producing things low budget, I also thought of like I was thinking of Robert Rodriguez and his like Rebel Without a Crew school, like making El Mariachi for $7,000. Like, how cool is that? You know, like that kind of
we watched all
mentality.
that stuff. We lived that stuff, man.
Yeah. You introduced me to Hard Boiled.
Oh gosh, did I?
You did. You did.
Holy
That's
cow.
one of my favorite action movies of all time, and you introduced me to that.
Now the real question is, how the hell did I hear about that? Because I mean, let's face it, it's from the backwoods.
Hard Boiled?
Yeah, I wonder how I heard about it. Oh, I know how I heard about it. Never mind. I've got a direct line to it. I learned about it because I was a Jean-Claude Van Damme fan.
Oh, yeah.
And so when I saw Hard Target and he said, we brought John Woo over here, he's this great action director, I went, I got to learn everything about him.
Yes. I remember watching that VHS tape in your room in Tennessee.
Letterboxed.
Yeah. And like just ogling at like the amazingness of that. I still think that's one of the best action movies of all time.
Yeah, man, it is. And we used to go over and talk about that that big scene with no cut in it where they go up the elevator.
Yes.
The timing on it, beautiful, man. Yeah, that's the stuff too. Is the videos and the books and things you get in college. And actually I should say the video, it doesn't really even matter when it happens because some people aren't going to college and some people are going to college. It doesn't matter. It's when YouTube is kind of becoming that place more and more where you can get I get some of the best book recommendations from the chat and from people that I meet online go, have you ever seen this? Like I don't know, Frank Cho's stuff, but one of his influences, an artist named Bud Root. I don't know if you know him.
Yep.
But Andy Smith,
I saw that his book. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Who did the cover on Threshers, the book I did. You want to talk about feeling like
I still have my copy of Threshers.
Oh, dude, that is crazy town.
I have my copy of Threshers, of Avant-Garde, and obviously of all your comic stuff I have.
That's crazy.
I have my Shanth folder.
You have your Shanth folder. And it's all those inappropriate selfies. You have to keep those in a lockbox. Again, sorry for that. I thought the camera was pointing forward, and I didn't know that I sent you all those pictures for weeks accidentally. It happens. I love continuous long scene cuts. Yeah, probably put together digitally now. You're right. Yeah, I mean, but still enjoy them. I know 1912 did some of that, but they still had some long takes in there. But when you bring in
Children of Men
in camera with
Children
pyrotechnics, what?
What?
Oh, in Hard Boiled.
Oh, that one. That was amazing because how many stuntmen were like jumping through glass and like the bullets going off and the camera like having to dodge the shrapnel. Like, yeah, that was unbelievable. And you can't if you have to reset that if somebody screws up.
Oh yeah, and somebody had to have screwed up once, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I was watching that car sequence, and it's not one long cut, but in the raid where the car breaks through the garage and there's that crazy fight scene. And I actually got to the end of that Blu-ray. I was like going through the credits. I want to see a message that says no stuntmen were killed in the making of this movie because I refuse to believe that everybody came out of that all right. It's like, oh my God, that movie is nuts. Absolutely nuts, man. Unbelievable. And for you guys in the chat, I will say something that is always funny to contemplate is there were crazy times when we both had newborns and we were up having these conversations because we were watching kids. Couldn't get any sleep. And it's like those are the crazy things. And my kids now drive automobiles.
That's scary.
You don't even know, man.
I can't even.
When they leave the house, it's like, I love you, please don't die.
Yeah.
That's the gist of my existence. But it's a pretty cool thing to watch these people grow up and become their own thing. But it's, I will say, I remember let's see, the first time I went out to Skywalker Ranch after the kids were born, it was my first trip I took out without the kids. We had kids pretty close. We got married. I think I was I always say this. I think I was the groomsman's Mikey from the Life cereal commercial. I was kind of like the guinea pig.
Yes.
Sean gets married. He's like, well, if he can do it,
Yeah.
And
If
then
that guy can do it.
If that guy can do it, holy cow! I mean, you should have seen him freshman year.
Right.
Cigarettes were like, dude, no more. Cutting you off. Oh man, yeah. Those are the days, man. Yeah, it's crazy that way, man. It's
The other
crazy that
memories
way.
I have, I just pulled out. I told you. I think I told you. I don't even know if I think it was on text or in the chat that I just got that IDW artist edition of The Rocketeer.
Oh,
It's
so good, dude.
So good. So
It is
good.
awesome, and the new
And
one has pages in it that the other ones didn't. There were 2 pages.
Yeah, there's 2 pages, but I read one review. So I got the older version because I read one
cool.
review that the chapter pages that separate each
each section.
issue, the way they designed it in the older version is different than the newer version. And the older version, they kind of did this cool hand-drawn type, and they had some of his sketches in it. And the newer version, they did it a little bit more modern. So I was like, oh, I want the older version. So I ended up getting the older version. But the thing that made me remind me of you was I have one of the original issues of it. I think the Pacific, which let me look at it. The Eclipse book one.
Yes.
And I was opening it up, and I totally forgot that I had it signed by Dave Stevens.
Nice, dude.
So his signature's in there, and I'm pretty sure when I got it signed, I think I was with you when it happened.
Were you?
I think so. I think it was at some convention.
Yeah,
Didn't
I
we
mean,
go to a convention.
We've been to conventions
together where I could have sworn we met Kevin Nolan. Were you there? Maybe that was not
dude.
you.
I don't think it was me. I think it was some other weirdo. No, I'm kidding. Oh my lord.
Maybe it wasn't you. Yeah, but Kevin Nolan was another one I remember meeting. Who was
even if it was me,
nice.
you never know if I was actually there, if you know what I mean. I mean, because I could have just been, just walking through life. But I'll say this is that when I met Dave Stevens, he was such a fantastic dude.
He was so nice, yeah.
So freaking nice and so humble, man.
Oh, I know what convention I was with you. Was
WonderCon.
Was that the one where Mike Allred inked your drawing?
That was at San Diego. Were you at that one with me?
I was at that one with you.
Holy cow! Yeah, geez,
Your Spider-Man drawing, wasn't it? Spider-Man
he inked
drawing?
my Spider-Man drawing. You're right. Yeah, man. Holy
and he
cow.
is one of the nicest guys, and his wife was one of the nicest people too.
And a great colorist too, man. Laura's great. Yeah, Mike said, he goes, I love this Spider-Man drawing. Can I ink it? And he inked one of my. I mean, you want to talk about those moments where you think, man, it might happen, that go on for decades.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Hail Phil. Good to see you, brother. Yeah, I mean, it's a funny thing, guys. It's you can't have any quit in you to do the things that you want to do that matter. And I think that for us, or at least, and I'll definitely say for me, there's this aspect of approaching things from the standpoint of it's the hardest thing in the world to learn is to be driven and not force things and just let it go. And Phil's always letting us know what he's doing. He says he just ate a plum, and I'm going to assume you mean that literally, because if that's figurative, that's some weird, I don't know what that is. Quit is a 4-letter word. Yeah. I mean,
so is plum.
So is plum. Plum is a 4-letter word. I think we all know what it means. Some kind of fruit. Let's see here. I have a copy of Andy Smith's How to Draw Dynamic Comics. Yeah. Love Andy Smith. His book just launched the other day. And I was talking to Andy because I was helping him with his camera setup. And on the list of bizarre things, there's texting back and forth with the guy who did your cover when you were a kid on your first pro job. And then being on a long stream with him going over try this camera, try that. And but I told him I said, it was you were there, and I even did a video on it, but you were there when my first pro job was written all over and critiqued when you talk about not having any quit,
Yeah.
and having drive.
Well, I think that, that's kind of the other side to this whole YouTube culture, like that our kids are growing up in, is they are all looking for this like instant success, or look, this person has like 1 million followers and like they become famous really quick. And I think the thing that hopefully people are seeing, like with you, like you make things look easy half the time when you're painting and talking at the same time, but it has been a lot of hard work, a lot of doors slammed in your face, a lot of, mountains to climb and like demons to fight just to get where you are now. So it's like, and I think that's the way for all the people who are successful, doing what they're doing. It doesn't come easy. Like these people have been doing it for so long and have put in the time and the effort, and it looks easy to all of us that are just watching going, wow, that's cool, I want to do that. But man, it is a lot of work.
Phil, the answer to that's simple. I never leave the house. Let me see here. Shouth, did you send it to the big guns, Miss Angetti, when helping Andy? No, I didn't. But bless her, she would have been great help. It takes about 2 years to get 10K subs for regular people. There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Zayd Comics agrees. Been on the panel with Sean. They've been known each other forever. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing too. When it comes to fighting the demons, I did get to the thing that solved that quick as possible. Is I was like, Sean, you got to stop fighting with yourself.
But it's true. You joke, but that's kind of the truth of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
We are our worst enemies. It's a phrase thrown around a lot, but there's so much truth to that. Like, how many times do we psych ourselves out of like, oh, this is not going to happen, or this is not going to work, or
Yeah, oh gosh,
I know I do.
Yeah, you know what's so funny is that how do I word it? Because it's when I think about like all of that sort of that stuff, I remember I saw this great interview with Walt Disney that I still haven't forgotten yet. The demon is us. That's right, man. The thing I loved about it is they asked Walt Disney on that this really cool Canadian interview that's hard to find, but it's a great interview. At the end, they go, "What would you do? Do you think you'd do anything different if you could do it all over again?" And Walt goes, "No, I don't think so." And then he like gets this kind of chilled look on his face. He goes, "But I hope I don't ever have to do it again." Like, I don't want to ever have to do that stuff again. Yeah. And I think that the coolest thing about, like the quotes that inspire me, like, the Churchill quote, when you're going through hell, just keep going. Like, get out of it, go through it. Like, you're going through it, so get to the other side. And I think that was always the kind of, I always had a lot of inspirational quotes and stuff in my head that I remembered, that kind of helped.
Somebody telling us one day when my firstborn was still young, and they're going through those phases of like not sleeping, everybody's tired and exhausted, and we had a close family friend tell us like the only constant in life is change. So like, the season will pass with your kid, and then they'll be in another season, and you'll be in a good season, but you got to know that season will pass too, and then you'll go through a rough season again. It's like that's the only constant, so
Yeah, I mean, we had a different one, I grew up with, which is, remember to tell your kids, somebody gonna get hurt real bad. Somebody. I'm not going to say who, but I think you know him very well. Russell Peters, man. I watched that with you guys. I showed you guys Russell Peters one time when I was out there, and I remember your better half was laughing her head off.
Yes. She loves Russell Peters.
Yeah, Russell Peters is the man. That crazy Canadian. He's nuts, man. But he cracks me up.
You know what I got today? I've kind of been on this artist edition kick. It's kind of
hey,
bad.
That's a good pick.
It's bad. But I just got the John Paul Leon's Winterman artist edition. Have you seen that? Do you know John Paul Leon's work?
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah, man.
Very sad. Rest in peace, John Paul Leon. But
God,
it's amazing. It's an amazing book. You should check it out.
We've lost some great people, man. I will say that.
Yeah.
We have definitely lost some legends. And, I think that's the thing that, when someone was talking to me and they go, and this is kind of a crummy thing to say or crummy thing to realize, is that when people say, is there anybody who like just blows your mind, who takes your breath away, who's an artist that you would be starstruck when you saw? And I think, with the exception of Todd McFarlane, but who I don't think I'm ever going to have a better experience with another human being ever. So, you know what I mean? Like in terms of my first experience with him was so incredible, so epic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't need that. But everyone else is gone. Like Dave Stevens, like all of those guys who are huge. I'd love to meet Frank Frazetta. I'd love to just meet him or watch him do any, work or something like that. But, we're in the time where we're the folks who've got to go out there and do it. And I don't know, when I came into CG and I was doing like video editing and stuff for Ethan, and I was, did those 2 art books and things like that. I never, how do I word this? I was just doing what I do and using the skills I have in the best way that was possible. And, you've known me. I've been doing that forever, dude. Like that's all I've like, you know what I mean? Like if I see somebody who's like, hey, I need a hand. I was just thinking the other day, I told Lauren that the last time I went to the Words and Pictures Museum up in Northampton, because it was closing, was with you. And we couldn't even go up into the museum because we were dropping off your senior film to get it developed. And you were like, man, I am so tired. Can you get in a car with me, exhausted, and ride shotgun so I don't fall asleep?
Drive with me, or I will die on the road.
I thought to myself, if he falls asleep, then tomorrow is sorted. I don't have to worry about it. So you didn't know this, of course, at the time. I've just revealed this tonight. But I was like, yeah, the sweet release of death is only a car ride away. Unfortunately, we survived and went on to have kids and live a life. But
we also went to that. What's the comic store in Boston?
Oh, Million Year Picnic. Yeah, back in the day.
It, or was it Newberry? I can't remember.
It was Million Year Picnic, the one that was kind of, you went down the stairs into that room. Yeah, Million Year Picnic. Yeah. That is a sweet comic shop, man. I love that place. I don't know if it's still, I don't know how they're doing now.
Do you have any comic book shops where you are now?
No, not really. Not like comic shops. I don't live in a metropolis like yourself.
What was the one in? Well, a lot of them are closing now. I mean, there's a few good ones still, but a lot of them are closing.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
What was the name of the comic book shop in Tennessee?
Oh shoot, man, you're getting me on something. I actually was trying to remember this the other day. I actually don't. God, what was that one called?
I think that was the one where the owner knew Butch Guice.
Yes, the one, but that was, see, that store was open for such a short time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it really was. Like, and it was near where we were living, and it was, I think it was an expansion of another comic shop. Like, it was like, a branch of another one that's big, and I can't remember what its name is. But yeah, that's where we got Rusty the Boy Robot, big guy, yes. Rusty the Boy Robot. I remember that.
You went to Atlanta to get him signed by Darrow.
Yep, that's right.
You drove, and I couldn't go with you.
You were like, I'm not getting in a car with this guy. I'm sorry, the hypocrisy.
But I have my copies of my signed Rusty the Boy Robot with me still.
Yep. That's right. Oh, did I go and get yours signed?
You did. You got mine signed.
What the hell, man? I was a nicer person than I remembered. I thought I was just, on crack the whole time. But apparently, on Coca-Cola, making my dentist's kids go through college. Oh, man, I drank way too much soda. But now, at least, I drink way too much soda. So that's changed. Oh, my God.
You're a mess.
Yeah, it's like, listen. There are certain aspects of me that I think need to prove their strength, and I'm going to put them through their paces, to see where this all leads.
You know what you got to do? Like, just seeing all your love and passion and your interests going into your comics. You need to do a comic that introduces some sort of boxing.
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, I love fighting, and I definitely, I just do. I do. You know that. You're gonna break your hand. No. I was talking with Gabe and Jericho the other day. Sean, now you have been rescued from academia. You can do painting tutorials the way you want. Well, here's the thing about this, though, guys. Let me say this. I say this with love. Someday someone's gonna get hurt. Now catch me as I jump off this roof. Yeah, that makes pretty good sense, man. Sean needs a caffeine patch. Yeah, I've got one. But here's the thing, Mighty Geek Studios, about academia. I am so burnt out on teaching right now, and I mean this sincerely, and I'll tell you why. And I've heard this from other people too, and I think it's I went way past critical mass on seeing people get angry and hurt by getting a critique, which is, here's how I word it. When you're critiquing people's artwork, trying to help them get into a career, you are their defense attorney, and you're saying to them, I need to know everything that they could get you on, and I'm going to tell you everything I think they could get you on.
I used to tell my students when I'd give them a critique, I'm like, you're going to be competing with me when you get out of this class.
That is another way of putting it. Yeah, that is absolutely true.
I'm going to just tear you a new one because you got to beat me, basically.
You know what I told my students once? I go, I'm a dragon training knights in the art of how to kill me, but I ain't putting the knife in. Some of you ain't going to make it. Like, I was like, that's the way it is. Good luck, kids.
Yeah.
You know? I eat my breakfast 500 yards from now. Like, don't think you can come in this classroom and make me nervous. But it really is. Here's how I would word it. My mentor, when he was teaching me, and I told my students this too, and some of them got a chance to meet him. Actually, 2 groups of students got to meet him. But I told them he was like Pai Mei and I'm like Bill. That's the best way I could. So if you get trained from me, it's not like getting trained by Pai Mei. And Pai Mei would just be like, it's my arm now. Like, that's the best way to word it. And I just don't think that there's the bring your A game and don't play. Yeah, that was the big thing, because I'm trying to. It's sort of like this. It's sort of like the what they tell lifeguards. When you swim out in the ocean to rescue somebody, you get close enough and then you put your feet out, and if they try to keep grabbing you, you tell them to calm down. If they don't calm down, you kick them away. Yeah. And I started realizing that that as an artist and as somebody who was creative, I was having very immature, volatile, overly emotional people trying to drown me, and I'm like, look, I ain't gonna drown here. Like, I'm trying to help you and save your life. And if you're going to try to take mine in order to feel better about yourself, no thanks. And it is that kind of game. I mean, I found myself in a situation where a student who checked her phone all the time and did no homework at all, I said to her, this exact wording. I said, how am I going to pass you in this class? Like, I mean that sincerely. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Burst into tears, went full psycho, had her dad calling the school that I had been mean to her. And there were other students there who knew this was all bullshit. And they put me through for almost like into a summer, until she was overheard laughing about how her father was going to get me when she had claimed that she had nothing to do with any of it. And she just didn't know why he was overreacting. And it was total bullshit. I knew it at the time. And I think, like, this is bullshit. And it was, frankly, it was amazing to watch, dare I say, some very bitter colleagues who no one wants to take their effing classes be comfortable throwing you under the bus like that. And I went, this is the shit I grew up with in Tennessee, man.
Right.
Just
in a different setting.
In a totally different setting. Like, I told people on stream about this. And this is you know enough about my my high school girlfriend to know that she was Chinese. And the thing that this is why the story is so funny. Her mother had, of course, a very thick Taiwanese accent, very thick, right? And absolutely, high school's over. Grow up. You're absolutely right. And so I was
saying that to us.
Yeah, I say that to us, and I'm saying,
sorry,
I'm saying to you, yeah, like, no. But she was, and so I knew her mom. I had met her before when she said to me one of my all-time favorite racist experiences, and she made sure she translated it to me. She looked at me, then looked at my high school girlfriend, said something to her in Taiwanese, and then she turned red, and then she's translated to her daughter in English. She goes, "He's not even a race." And then she turned to me and goes, "You're not even a race."
She didn't even try and hide it.
She didn't even try and hide it. Yeah, she didn't even try that. No, it wasn't Rini. And Rini is much like me in that way, man. No, that wasn't it. I always liked white girls. No, so anyway, my point is, I'm sitting there, right? And so this girl, and I think I know who it was because I kind of knew her. The phone rings at my house. My mom picks up the phone. And she goes, "There's a woman on the phone who is asking you where says my girlfriend's name is. And it's her mom." And I went, well, I'm like, just woke up. I'm like, what? I pick up the phone and the person in an American accent says, we'll go with the name Jen just to make things easier. Says, not my girlfriend's, high school girlfriend's name, but we'll use that one. Goes, "Where's Jen?" And I'm like, what? You know where Shanth. So she knows how to pronounce my name. That was the scarier part of it. She's like, "Where's Jen?" And I go, what? What are you talking about? This is Jen's mom. Where is Jen? And I say again, you're not, first of all, the Jen's mom I know is Chinese and you are not her. And I said, what? And this is where I come out. You know, I've been awake for 3 minutes. I was ready to rock. I go, "Who the fuck are you? I don't know who the fuck you're talking about. You don't know where Jen is, Shanth?" And I go, "No, my girlfriend's name is Jen. She is Chinese. Her mother is Taiwanese. And you are not fucking her. What the fuck are you talking about?" She hung up the phone, never heard from her again. And what I came to figure out is some girl that was at the school who knew me, I think barely. I have a suspect who I think it is. And because there weren't, that many girls with that name who would know my name or any of that shit, pronounce it. Basically had told her mother, used me as something, assuming her mother would never call me. I'm out with this boy, grabbed my name out of a hat. And this woman was convinced that I knew something. And when you have something like that happen to you, it is so completely screwed up.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is even happening? And so I was pretty comfortable with that kind of bullshit from those experiences. But I will tell you, man, it was holy cow. When you start seeing that stuff happen in college, you're like, I'm not getting paid a ton of money to do this job. And you're putting me in a position where you could take everything from me and none of these people around me care.
Yeah.
They just don't. And you can lie your way to it. And I was like, no way am I sticking around here. I was like, I'm out of here. And it was really because in order to be a teacher and in order to do the educational thing, you absolutely have to know that, one, the administration has your back, right? Because you've been there forever. Hopefully they know you, because you're in a situation with a bunch of legal adults and you don't know them at all. You don't know what stuff they're working through. I have seen some stuff since I've been teaching. Yeah, never lie about your security. Your life depends on it. Yeah, amen. And this is the thing about it too, which is I would have students. I had a student who was early stages paranoid schizophrenic. And I found that out at some point, that she said that she said she was having computer trouble. And when I probed a little deeper, she said that people were hacking into her computer and erasing her work. And then, and I was kind of brought her down to the office and I said, look, she hasn't done any artwork. She hasn't done anything all semester. And the thing that was so crazy about it is that she went, because everyone goes, yeah, she never did any artwork. God, you gotta love your colleagues. She never did any artwork in my class either, but I kind of felt bad for her. So I passed her and I went, oh, that's great. And so eventually, they decided that she was not doing well. So they were going to send her home because she, couldn't stay in, she was Canadian, couldn't stay in the country if her grades weren't over a certain level. and she got flagged by airport security. She was so nuts. She got flagged by airport security she was in such a state. She got flagged by airport security in Rhode Island and was sent to Butler Hospital. And her parents had to come from, overseas, from Canada, but I think they were overseas and had to fly back to pick her up. And you see that stuff and you're thinking, I don't know how safe these kids are. I don't know.
Photo of you like sewn into her pants.
Yeah, well, yeah, or she was like measuring me for a skin suit. I was in a well. She was saying I had to put the lotion on my skin. You put the high fructose corn syrup on your skin. And I'm like, all right.
All right.
Sounds good.
This is totally normal.
Yeah, this is totally.
But did you finish your gouache painting?
Exactly. And I'm like, hey, it's got to be 5 o'clock somewhere, Man almighty. Yeah,
you know what I just got? Sorry, I keep telling you all these things that I just got that I know you'd appreciate.
Go ahead.
I just got this French version, or is it French? This French version of Travis's Space Girl.
Oh, I've seen that.
Remember?
Yeah.
Didn't I get you Space Girl from one?
You got me Space Girl signed to me, the hardcover.
And then I remember I got it, and you were like, "You didn't get one for yourself," and I was like, I didn't." And then I totally regretted it.
Dude, why?
I don't know.
You're like, I spent my last dollars. I spent my kids' lunch money on your dang Space Girl shop.
Yeah, I did.
Brutal.
So the one I got was, I found it somewhere online, and it's in French. But
it's got awesome. The yellow kind of cover.
Yeah, the yellow cover.
Sweet, yeah. That one looks great. I love Travis is the man. John Malin is also one of the big CG guys. I did a double page spread from recently. Oh, yeah. And he's a massive Travis Charest fan as well, man. That dude he's just amazing. Yeah. His stuff is so great.
I think I remember we were counting the days when those Wildcats issues came out that he did.
Oh,
the new ones, the ones that he started.
Yeah, with Scott Lobdell and all that.
Yeah, those were so good.
Did I pick you up a copy of the penciled book they were giving out of that when I was at that con way back when? They had a penciled version of that book.
I think
it was 5 pages or 10 pages.
Yeah, I think you did. Cool. Yeah, like a preview.
Yeah, hail to the coach. Yeah, I think I picked that up. And just to answer this question, John, no one ever told you, and no one knew, or it's weird because you're dealing with legal adults, but there were things they didn't tell you, and yet at the same time, you would they would put things on you increasingly that you had no training for or risk. So I got to a point where there was a student who didn't do any work all semester. This is my last year teaching. And I just didn't do anything. I was like, let the students sit in the class. I don't care because this was after that last year. And the dean came up to me and goes, has this student done any work? And I went, no, not really. Are you failing them? And I was like, no, not really. I mean, we'll have to figure something out at the end of the semester. And she's like, well, why aren't you failing her? And I said, remember how that went? I just looked at her. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I don't have 9 months or 6 or 7 months of harassment that I'm interested in doing. So why don't you fail her, dean? And let's have them, drive you fucking crazy. I'm like, good Lord, man, I've got family, I'm not interested in spending time on this horse shit. And and once that happens once a teacher realizes that, it's like a doctor saying, I can't really diagnose you because it'll make you sad and you could have me lose my license if you get sad. You go, fuck this. This is 18 years of my life and degrees. And I'm like, I'm being, what's the word? I'm having rank pulled on me by people with high school diplomas. No thanks. Yeah. It's just, it's cuckoo, man.
That sucks you went through that.
Yeah, but you know what's so funny? To quote Gary Oldman in Fifth Element, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Your time for revenge is at hand. No, you know what's so funny? We watched that shit a lot. Well, here's the thing about it, man. I will tell you this. When teaching was good, and I'd say those first couple of years at that school, my first, couple of years as a full-time professor were great. I will say it was really painful watching them destroy academia and academic, I don't know how real academic freedom ever was, to be honest with you. I think it was, if you have the right opinions, you have free speech. If you don't, you don't. And I had never thought of myself as Because I always, when I look back on it in terms of how popular my classes were, they were just insanely popular, and how and just successful. My students did well. They were successful. They got work. They became case studies. I had never really thought of what my politics were. I'd always thought of myself as being, generally speaking, a liberal person in terms of the classical sort of meanings of it. But when I look back on it, and I look back at how I was, always dealing with, I'd say, well, can I get this opportunity or that opportunity? They go, no. And for some subjective reason, they couldn't do it. I realize now that by talking about mythology, Joseph Campbell, by not telling people who were religious, students who were religious, that religion was bullshit, and being, not taking, that crazy extreme attitude on it, that it really put me in the crosshairs. And they must have really thought of me as being really conservative for that, which is amazing to think about, because I was telling them that when you go in for a job interview, what you have to do. And this former student of mine, who is I don't know what her background is. I think she's like half Chinese, half something else. I can't remember, much like myself. But she was an older student when she was there. Yeah, absolutely. You ain't even kidding. It's one of those things to where she said to me, she goes, I was in my 30s when I was in college, and Shant's class helped me to stay sane, because Shant was telling these kids things that they didn't know, that were like obvious, like you can't act that way, you can't do this, you can't do that, and
like life skills,
basic life skills. And you want to hear one I didn't ever think to advise, and this is the kind of stuff that, this is for the chat, for those of you guys who are hanging in here, you 9 people, you 9 maniacs, and probably 2 of you are me and Rocky. That's the reality of it. Is for those of us hanging out here, man, and we're doing this kind of stuff, are still here. I had a former student who I thought was a little loopy, taught her for a class. I didn't give her, I would have died if I had given her a recommendation, and this had been what happened. So thank God I didn't, but someone gave her a recommendation. She's working for a video game studio. And I'll see if you can guess. You won't be able to guess where this is going. She's working for a video game studio. And all of a sudden they notice that they're all, I don't know if this is secret knowledge. This may keep you up at night. Yeah, what? I can't put my hand through one chip. You're absolutely right. This swear to God, this is absolutely true. Hand on heart, this is absolutely true. Her cubicle where she works at this video game studio, and it was a video game studio that became Warner Brothers Studio, that's here in Massachusetts. And I forget what they were called before hand, but it was they were doing the Lord of the Rings MMORPG, stuff like that. There's a smell and flies coming from her workspace. No. Yep, here it is. And they go to her workspace, and they pull out a duffel bag. It's close. They pull out a cardboard box, and in the cardboard box is a dead roadkill cat. And they are mortified, because that violates about 1 billion rules for a business and for a safe, kind of environment. But also, what the hell is the story of this? And they call her into the office, and they, are like, what the hell? And she goes, oh, I was walking home from work and I saw it, and I thought I might be able to use that for an art project at some point. So I scraped it off the street, put it in a box, put it in my cubicle, and they looked at her and they said, you're fired. Like, pack your shit and get out of here. And the guy who was telling me this, and this was a RISD student, the guy who was telling me this, I just looked and I just was like, I have no words for this. So yeah, there's a thought for you guys in terms of every school has a lot of different kinds of people in it. And we are one kind of person, and there are others. And as different as we may have thought we were when we were freshmen or seniors or even juniors, we definitely wouldn't do that. We know this about each other, that is not something we would do. And I was
crazy runs deep, man. Crazy
runs deep. Well, damn, says Timmy Mello. You ain't kidding. You ain't kidding, man. That child was a few French fries short of a Happy Meal, and that is the way it goes, man.
I bet she could paint and gouache like a fiend, because she took your class.
No. She was in a different class than when I had her. Thank God, and it certainly didn't cover life skills. I'm guessing. But no, all of you've met my students, and they've seen you tons. Even all of my friends who work in the industry will run into some of my students, at some point. And actually, you've had one as an intern there, and the thing about all that stuff is. Yeah, you've had that's right. You have had a couple. That's right. Was she related to Nasser? I don't know. It's always possible. Yeah, it was some scary shit. But it's like when people hired students who had me, they knew if I gave a recommendation that it was a serious thing, and they knew I was a ball buster, and I expected people to behave and write thank you notes and all this crap. Like I took it super serious, and the thing for me about it was that. Yeah, I mean, it's once people who you can take their word for it, who train people hard, leave an institution. I'll tell you guys this great story of my first years teaching at Rhode Island School of Design. I called a buddy of mine who is a showrunner, who's a very successful person, a show creator even, who I'm not going to name because I don't need his ass getting canceled. But fuck it. People have already come at him several times, but either way, it's just, I don't want to do any shit with him. In that way, because I love the kid. But I called him when I first got my teaching job, and I said, hey, I'm looking to help my students get internships and things like that. And he was an alum from our school, from RISD. And he goes, fuck shit, Sean, we don't teach any skills there. And I was like, wow. Like, wow. He was like, he goes, we're not taking interns from there because, we don't teach any skills. And I was like, holy cow, that was brutal. And I set about, and I did get him some interns his way, but it took me a couple of years to get people skilled up and knowing how to act. I mean, we had students who would go for an internship, and we could never get an intern into Pixar back in the day when Pixar, was Pixar. And we could not get anybody in there. Just couldn't. And the thing that was so crazy about it was they have this very obvious question that's sort of like it's sort of like all of those obvious, like, you have to be smart enough to not screw this up and answer it in a way that's appalling. And the question that Pixar would ask their interns was, what is your least favorite Pixar film? And didn't you know it? Because we were all trained very, very well. Oof, bad reputation, yeah. Wouldn't you know it? We were all trained so well to be so ready. And that's something I'm quite embarrassed about in hindsight. But we were so trained to shred professionals and be pretentious little college students that none of our students, except for the ones who had me, and when I finally was, told about this, knew how to not go in hard on a Pixar film. My favorite one was, and it was probably when it was their highest grossing film, the student picked Finding Nemo.
Oh, gosh.
And shredded it. And the person they were talking to was like an assistant AD on it. Yeah. It was fucking unbelievable. And so they were just kind of like going, I gave a really detailed answer. I talked about, I don't like this. I was like, oh, fucking you moron. And then I explained to them how stupid they were. And they were just like, oh, and I said, yeah. Which reminds me of my favorite Shant story. Do you recall the greatest Shant story of all time?
Which one?
This one you're gonna remember and love. And we won't mention the poor gentleman's name. But when I was down interning for my mentor, and they asked me what I thought of Nightwing's Nightwing costume design. Do you remember that story?
I vaguely remember it.
I was having lunch at a studio.
I mean, I know how this will play out, but
you know how it plays out. They asked me what I thought, and I was such a smart, college-educated little boy. I was Joe College. I decided to go in hard on Nightwing, and I can tell you this: everyone but my mentor, in hindsight, was very quiet, yeah. And everyone else seemed to be trying to get me to change the subject, but no, I was a daredevil, just like my old man. And I just kept going in harder and harder and harder. And I come back to college and I see you. And the first thing I say is, it was one of those awful moments. I go, oh, how was your summer? I said, oh, I interned at so-and-so studio. And it was this person. And then I said my mentor's name. And you went, oh my God, him? He designed the costume for Nightwing. And I just went, oh. And I could see his face with total recall of him sitting there with the 1,000-yard stare. And I can't believe that fucker still talks to me.
Right.
And if he ever stops, he's well deserved in doing so. And you could just feel that, man. You could just feel that. And here's what pissed me off. Any student who's ever had me has heard that story. I never kept that a secret. It was my favorite story to tell, because it was like telling somebody a really great ghost or horror story.
Yeah.
Like they all are just like, no. When I said, and I told them, I go, before you're done, you will do this. Yeah. It was literally like saying, you will deny him 3 times before the rooster crows. It's like, I ain't gonna do that. Are you crazy? It is absolutely no. It wasn't Scott McDaniel. It was worse than that. This was even worse. And
Scott McDaniel had a long run in Nightwing.
Yeah, he did. He absolutely did. But this was far worse because I was 2 feet from the dude. You don't understand, man. It was bad. Okay, it was bad. And but this is the thing. And so I had a former student of mine decide to post on Facebook. He worked in the video gaming industry. And he decided to post on Facebook, oh my God, have you seen the box art for BioShock Infinite? How fucking original. Chin down, eyes up. If I see one more of these, I'm going to lose my mind. And one of his closest friends goes, really? I designed that cover. And then I watched him for 20 comments desperately try to pull his head out of his ass and walk it back. And she was like, no, I mean, if that's your opinion, that's your opinion. It's like, no, you understand. I was high. My mom was like, he was just coming up with all this shit. And the last comment on the thread, the nail in his coffin, was me typing as my comment, Nightwing. And he wrote, oh my God. And that, kids, is how you get yourself a fucking education. Yeah, it's a painful thing. But you
got to go through it. Yeah,
you got to go through it.
That's how you learn.
You've got to make an ass out of yourself, not know it till a little while later. And you know what it is? It's like experience is what you get when you didn't get what you were going for, and that is 100%. Those are the experiences, and those guys are great, man. Well, listen, I want to talk to you for a sec afterwards, and you got to be tired, man. It's got to be 12:21 there. It's 3:21 a.m. in the morning here.
Oh man.
Yeah, and but let me say this to you guys. Thank you guys for sticking around while we go down memory lane, and while
sorry everyone.
Yeah, no, they love it, man. They're gonna be like, we got all the shit on him now. We got all the shit, but
oh no, we just scratched the surface.
We scratched the surface, yeah. We just scratched the surface of this porta potty. So let me say this, guys. Thank you guys for being here. Yes, dude's probably sucked all the air out of the yeah, it did, man. It was glorious. Like, yeah, he had a moment. It was that vertigo shot, right? Of the dolly. What is it? Zoom in, dolly back, or dolly in and zoom out. I can't remember which one it is, but either way it'll work. But yeah, guys, thank you for hanging out here with us, Rock. Hang around. I want to say hey after this, but yeah, guys, you guys are the best. It's it's getting late on the West Coast, so you guys need to get some sleep. It's midday in Australia. I don't know what to say there, but you guys take care. We will see you soon. Have a great night. Stay gold. Much love, and yeah, that's how we do things here. Take care, everybody, and I'm going to play you out with our favorite song.
Wait, Peace. When you said you want me to stick around, what do I do?
Just stay there. You're good. I'll bring you back into the show when we're off. I love this. What do I do? My emails disappeared. Holy cow, man. I'm going to catch you up after this. Don't worry. I'll have you savvy in a minute here. But I'll bring you back on. Don't panic when you're not here. All right? Take care, guys. Peace.
Here's a little something for you busters. Yeah.
Not even learning anything on the street. You think I'm stupid, son?
See what I'm trying to say to you, boy?
Yeah.
Do ya?
What's up with that?
Look at me, damn it!
Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack. What's up with that?
You smoke crack, don't you?
Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack.
Look at me, boy!
Hey to you.
You smoke crack, don't you?
Don't even smoke crack.
You know what that does to you? Huh? You smoke crack, don't you?
Smoke crack.
Go on and do it expeditiously.
What's up with that?
It kills your brain cells, son. It kills your brain cells.
Don't even smoke crack.
No guts, huh?
I apologize. I forgot you were there. You may go now.